Content warning, explicit language, and political opinions.
This is episode 3 of the Andolanjeevi podcast, recorded May 1st, 2022, live from Bangalore and Mumbai.
Yes, nice. And I'm NKG and joined here by
I'm arcanephoenix.
arcanephoenix. And yeah, let's just get right into the topics.
Have you seen like those wild temperature graphs
No, like which ones? I'm not sure.
in this country, like the heat wave?
Oh yeah, I know. I think the
How
northern parts are getting hit hard, right?
Hmm. how hard is it? Like, is has it been hard for you?
In Bangalore, uh,
Uh-huh.
so Bangalore has been really weird lately, where it would be a complete, um, like really miserable time period for like 4 5 days. It'll be
Mhm.
like really hot and like humid and like very uncomfortable.
Humid.
And yeah, it's humid like crazy, or like you sweat like crazy. And
Hmm.
uh, then what will happen is after 4 and 5 days it will rain. So it'll just, today is one such day. Today it's just, it has rained just now. And it's so funny
Hmm.
because it's like full on, like sunshine will be there. It's like clear skies, no clouds, and suddenly you hear this like really loud boom. Okay, and it's like it's basically the clouds thundering, and the clouds are thundering somewhere else, and then you hear that sound, and even in like when 5 minutes all those clouds are here, it starts raining like crazy, right?
Hmm.
And it rains for like 30 minutes, and then it chills out the entire like atmosphere, and it will only stay till tonight. Tomorrow morning onwards, again, like the full on heat will start again, and it'll like
Hmm.
keep going like this. It's like a cycle.
Yeah, that's weird. Here it's not as bad. Like we don't have rain, but we also don't have like this thing. Sorry. We don't
Like,
have
yeah.
rain, but we don't
Mm.
have like the temperatures are bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, but I
Like
don't even know, because I feel because like there are like people that I know in Delhi who are like, oh, you have forgotten how hot Delhi can be. Bangalore cannot be anywhere close. And I like, okay, maybe, but it's still really uncomfortable. It's not about the absolute temperature in Fahrenheit, but it's also like, how much it's letting you.
yeah, like part like it's all like humidity and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, it's really like gets really sticky, really sweaty. It's like, yeah, very unpleasant.
Mm.
It has this is I feel like this is nature conspiring to make people attend office in person again, because office buildings have central AC.
Aircon, yeah.
Yeah, it is like, yeah, you just sit inside for like 8 hours, 10 hours, and it's, yeah, then it's evenings and it's not as hot anymore, so you just go back home, right?
Mm.
I am seriously
Uh,
considering attending office regularly now, from like in person.
the issue is like I don't have this thing, so I don't have the like option of attending in person. But thankfully I have like a functioning AC. I
Yeah.
think it's just slightly worrying that like a lot of this is kind of cascading, right? Because at the same time there is a heat wave, at the same time there is like the whole there is like an electricity shortage. Apparently we have coal shortages,
Okay.
which is why
Yeah.
like apparently there is like fucking load shedding in Delhi,
Oh
and
yeah.
like at times like this, and
Yeah.
it's like and like it's genuinely scary because you don't know like do is everyone going to like like are people going to keep like dying? Like,
Yeah, it's a morbid thought, but yeah, it's like it's also because there's a thing, there's a reason why in Bangalore we didn't even buy a cooler, like a desert cooler, because
mm.
in Bangalore nobody does that. Like people don't have ACs at home, like
Yeah,
at
yeah, I know.
least, yeah,
My sister used to live in Bangalore, and she like
yeah.
when we used to come there, like it used to always be like super pleasant and stuff, you know?
Exactly, it used to be like that. It used to be even when I had initially come here, which was like in 2017. It was not as bad. It was like okay, some warm days are there, but mostly it is that by
Very
that,
pleasant.
yeah, very cool breeze, and like spontaneously it will start raining every day, like almost
Mm,
every second day. It's like okay, it rained for 15 minutes and it's fine,
mm,
but now it's like you have to wait like days and days and days, and it has this, even this, now that it is raining every 4 5 days, it has only started like from last couple of weeks till
mm,
now. Like it was just for multiple weeks it had been just a dry spell, like full on heat. And
mm.
it had like, yeah, it's of course in Delhi, if this is happening, like it has
Like,
started.
like even
Yeah,
in normal summers in Delhi, people tend to die from shit like heat stroke, right? Like
exactly.
every year you have like like 10 to 15 people, and
Yeah,
now with this, it might even get worse. That's like, and I don't know, like, I like it feels really scary because it feels like the only way to like stop this is to increase like coal use and like I
yeah,
mean, I don't think that's helpful.
this has started because, yeah, like my friends in Delhi, they had also, like at least one of them had also started this discourse that what does this mean? Like, is there something that is going to make people move towards green energy more? Like, what will be the impact on like the energy policy of our country?
Mm, mm. I
And
think
yeah,
I think any for all the many bad things that the Modi government has done, I don't think it has been antagonistic to green energy in a way that is like in a way that is like characteristic of, for instance, uh, the right wing in the West, like especially the American right wing, but like in general, you know.
hmm,
Although, hello.
that's what I like. Here's the thing, right? India is like on a different level only.
Like I think for
Yeah,
us it's different because part of it is we have much more to directly lose. Like I live in Bombay.
precisely. Yeah,
Bombay, I do you know how high Bombay is?
yeah, I know. I have an idea.
Bombay is 18 meters above sea level.
Yeah, yeah.
1.8. I can
Hmm.
if I go down to Marine Drive, and
Hmm.
Marine Drive is not even like the lowest point,
Hmm.
but if I go down to Marine Drive, I
Yeah.
can literally like uh just like climb down a little bit, and my feet are touching like sea.
Hmm. Yeah.
If that goes up, who
Yeah.
knows how much of Bombay is just gone.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
not
like, yeah.
only
Hmm.
and it's not only Bombay, right? It's
Hmm.
also places like Chennai, although I don't know if Chennai is as low, but Chennai is definitely like lower, definitely less than 100 meters above.
Hmm.
Um and Chennai, Kochi, most of your coastal cities.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Bangladesh obviously gets hit the worst because all of Bangladesh is low lying, and including like Dhaka and like I think that is like a climate refugee crisis,
Hmm.
which is like
Waiting to happen.
genuinely scary because
Yeah.
like if Bangladesh gets basically flooded,
Hmm.
you are looking at how and you're looking at like most at least 50% of Bangladeshis going somewhere,
Hmm.
whether it be Myanmar or here,
Hmm.
or like some will go to other places, but the majority will go to like Myanmar or here, right? And we already have public discourse which is already to put it lightly, hostile towards the ideas of Bangladeshis coming and staying in India.
Of course, that's like one of the talking points, one of the major talking points, especially not at only at national level but at those states level politics also.
It's come up to like it's not even like local, right? This kind of discourse has come up to Delhi. It's the idea, the like
Oh
this one.
yeah.
Uh, what's her face? Yeah, Atishi
Atishi,
had
yeah.
literally said that like publicly that
Hmm.
the BJP is paying Bangladeshis and Rohingyas
Oh
uh,
my
uh,
god. Hmm.
to uh, to do riots so that they benefit electorally or something.
So that they can advocate for pushing them out or like deporting them or something like that.
Yeah, but like, is this? I don't think is this like a Bangladeshi problem?
There is
Is
nobody.
are the
Here's the
people in
thing.
are the people in Jahangirpuri Bangladeshis? Like, am I supposed to buy that?
There's like this. It's a layered cake. Okay, it's like multiple layers of bigotry. One layer is, of course, Bangladesh is a Muslim majority nation,
Hmm.
and they are not shy about it. But they are like, at least at the government level, they're this they like posture as being more secular. But I don't think in practice it is. It's like a very like, I don't want to judge Bangladesh, but it's like the what I'm talking about is the public perception. Oh, it started raining again. Uh, and the second thing
Public
is,
perception of Bangladesh as
yeah,
what?
as a
Like a
Muslim
shithole?
majority nation,
As
which
a
is like,
shithole? As a
yeah.
Muslim majority shithole?
But here's the thing, right? I have met a breed of people in like sort of not even met, like I've discovered a breed of people in India which are like axiomatically opposed to Muslims existing. And it's
Yeah, that's not
funny.
surprising.
Yeah.
This is like your BJP core constituency.
No, but that's the funny thing. They don't like
Like
BJP.
BJP activist constitute. Yeah, that
Yeah,
like do they think the BJP is too soft on Muslims?
exactly. They don't think BJP is extremist enough.
Trads.
Okay. And it's
So
like,
these are the famous trads.
who? What? I'm
You
not
have you
clear.
heard of the term trads?
Trads, no. Like, no.
Uh, Trads is like a mostly online but also offline sort of group of people
Hmm.
who think Modi is too much of a Modi is too much of a coward in face of Muslim quote unquote aggression. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Just give me a second, okay?
Go ahead.
I'll, so we'll need to push the switch to talk because you must have been hearing the wind pattering on my windows, right?
I couldn't
So
hear anything. I think it's fine. I think what I'm worried about is whether like my cough is affecting like
yeah, no, no, no,
stuff.
that's fine. I think that you are doing all right. Okay, let's continue till we can. If it's
Mm,
fine, then it's fine. So,
mm.
okay, yeah, trads. So,
TRADS.
uh, yeah. So I get the concept, and I think I met that. Like, I met a member of that group only, which identifies with that ideology,
Like
and
the thing is, like the idea is that there is like a split in the Indian right wing, right? Like like trads versus raitas, and raitas are basically like BJP supporters, but who are not like super crazy about like Hindutva types,
yeah,
and trads are basically Hindu nationalist groypers, you know?
yeah,
And
and
like even up
yeah,
to having like their own Pepe, except he is like orange color.
yeah. But like that's
Yeah.
the thing that, so as you meant, like the Raita people, right? This is like something that feel like there is a class of people which are more of like, oh no, we support Modi because of his policies and like how much good he brings it. Because I remember, hold on, why I don't know why somebody is. I'm so sorry. Could you hear that ringtone in the background?
No,
Amazing. It's is your volume low?
no, I can hear you like, and I can hear you fine. I think I think there's doing some serious like noise cancelling, and like it's doing it well. I thought you stopped watching, stopped talking because I sent you that picture and you were like, "What is this?"
Oh, you sent me a picture as well. Hold on. Oh. Yes. So I like thumbnail is decided for this episode.
Yeah,
But
but, like I think you should probably we should like if you are putting this as a thumbnail, full credit to The Wire
yeah.
f- for
Image
the
credits. Yeah, yeah. Got it. Got it.
image credits.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I mean, you are literally here having like something where this guy is literally like if you look at the top left one, this guy is literally putting himself posing as the Nazi with Muslims in the uh, gas chamber and
Oh my
like
god.
he's being like smug about it and like
Yeah, this is okay. This is literally the thing that's happening now, isn't it? Because when I talk to this guy which I'm talking about, I was like, his hatred of Muslim people is like mirroring the Nazi propaganda, in Germany in 30s and 20s even. And like, I'm
like
like,
what kind of stuff does he say?
okay, so the primary characteristic that I've like noticed, I don't want to quote him directly, but it was mostly like, okay, yeah, one idea that he had was that everything bad that has happened in history, and especially with India, but also the entire world, has been the fault of Muslim people. Okay,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, I
everything,
can
and
buy
I
that.
threw some things at him, and he was like, I don't want to get into the weeds about that, and I threw some historical bad things at him, and he was able to frame everything as the fault of Muslim people. Okay.
Like, how did Muslims invent casteism or something? Like, I imagine he has, like, that is like the big thing, right?
So, yeah, so about caste, he had very interesting ideas. Okay, caste, I
Or
asked
does he
him,
not think casteism is a problem?
yes, obviously, like, not even that, it's not like it's his idea was that caste was nowhere is nowhere in Hinduism, in Hindu scriptures, texts, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, and I said, okay, no, everybody, like all of like this is what I have heard I of course have not read Manusmriti myself, but everybody quotes Manusmriti as the thing that's, that defines the caste system, the caste hierarchy
Hmm.
in like Hinduism. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's there. But he's like, oh, okay, but you know where does that say that there should be some people who are untouchable? I was like, listen, the thing is, I have not read it, and don't try to get into this
Pretend that
thing.
you have.
Yeah, don't try to
Pretend
debate.
that you have.
Yeah, you haven't either. I know you have not that well read of a person, but also, it's the reason why I'm entertaining this guy so much. Is because he used to be my friend in college, and he had the symptoms of Hindu nationalism even then, but then it was very low key. And the thing is that he, since then, we lost touch, and then we have each other's WhatsApp contacts. So I see his statuses, I see his Facebook updates, and all that, and I see that he is still holding on to that line. And when he spontaneously reached out to me again and wanted to like re-establish connection, and then I wanted to be clear about that. Okay, listen, we disagree politically, and that is not something that I'm such a good friend of yours that I'm willing to ignore. Okay, we don't have that big of a history that I'm willing to ignore that you're a Hindu nationalist. So I want to clear the air about that. So that's why I was sort of grilling him about his beliefs. So I said that, listen, it does not matter if that particular book had the word untouchable written in Sanskrit or not. Okay, what matters is that caste system in which a particular group of people are hereditarily designated to be like the worst socially and economically placed people, that happened. That is a reality of history, and that is something that needs to be resolved. That situation needs to be improved because it has carried over to the modern times. I was looking up a study, and today even caste and economical class correlate in India even right now. There is a
Mm.
correlation still that is there. That so it's sort of like the
No, that's not surprising.
generational wealth concept that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
still
Like
there.
obviously,
Yeah,
it's not surprising, right?
yeah,
India hasn't been free for 100 years.
ah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
like we have not had any kind of attempt at like uh caste-based restitution for like 100 years. Like it's not been even 100 years since we have had attempts at that. Like
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
getting into like how much it has been followed and stuff like that, but like even attempts at the idea of like a caste based like restitution for years of
Hmm.
like I like you say second class citizenship. Maybe that term is
Hmm.
not like harsh enough,
Hmm.
but like you've barely had that for 100 years,
Hmm.
and obviously that is not enough time, right? It's like it's similar. Obviously, it's not same. It's not the same, but it's like similar to like the situation with like black people, right? Like in the US
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's analogous. Yeah, that's definitely there. And uh, so the thing is that what I'm talking about, the how it mirrors the hatred for Jewish people in Nazi Germany, right? It's a similar
Mm.
thing where everything bad with Germany was blamed on Jewish people. So every cultural movement that is not, they do not like, oh, it's Jewish stuff. It's and every economic policy they did not like, oh, it's Jewish stuff, right? And it's the same thing here because so as you said, right, it does not matter whether or not Bangladesh is a shithole or not. It really does not matter because these guys will openly oppose countries like Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates also, right? So or are these the same company? Oh, sorry, same country.
No, they are not the
They're
same
different
country.
countries, right? Yeah,
They are very, very much different countries.
yeah, yeah.
And to be fair, I think like, I don't think we really like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are not exactly the best,
No,
but
no, no. I'm talking about economically.
oh
Economically,
no,
yeah,
I don't think they care that much economically. So many,
yeah.
like you remember that really like weird story from Bahrain where this Desi guy is working in Bahrain
Hmm.
and he starts yelling at some random woman because she's wearing like a hijab or something
Oh my God, yeah, that's so
in
cringe.
Bahrain.
So cringe.
Oh
Yeah,
my God. Like
yeah.
like you like use your I don't even know how to react. Like what?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I said, like, it's not even when we are talking about energy policy, nobody cares. Absolutely zero people care about India's energy policy. Modi can do whatever he wants, but so far, like, I don't know. Like, you said, right, that why, like, he has not really taken some sort of a strong stance on that. One part of that is, of course, like, there's a lot of people's lives who are hanging in the balance, but also nobody cares about that specifically unless it starts becoming a problem. And again, even this thing somehow, I know some people are going to find a way to blame on Muslim people, and that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy of politics in India, at a grassroots level.
Hmm. Like that
Yeah,
is actually like genuinely this thing. Obviously, I understand that. Right?
yeah.
Like I think I think we are very much. I don't know if I might have said this before, but we are very much at like the point where like economic performance has become like not an electoral factor.
Oh, absolutely, nobody cares about
like I
economic factors.
like
Yeah.
like not like economic factors, anything that like affects people. Like part of it is uh like there is this idea that I hear a lot from a lot of people, like people like Akash Banerjee. I
Hmm.
like the guy,
Hmm.
but like I assume you know who he is.
Just give me a reminder.
He's that Deshbhakt guy,
Oh, I
YouTube channel.
watch him. I never remember. I never noticed his name, but I know the channel. I watch that channel.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it's not just him, but like and he's not like the worst person when it comes to this, but like there's like this general idea that like Modi is doing like Hindu Muslim as a distraction
Hmm.
because generally like
Hmm.
in like past governments,
Hmm.
like a lot of past governments have done like pushing religious stuff as a distraction from like economic failures,
Hmm.
like economic failures, political failures, all kind of like general governing failures.
Yeah.
I think with Modi it's different, and maybe Akash does now too, because like I don't know,
Hmm.
but I think this is different because like I people won't care if you are having like 100 rupee petrol, we already have 100 rupee petrol. If you have like 200 rupee petrol, or God, my brain still thinks of like crazy high prices is 100 rupee petrol, even though we have 100.
Yeah.
Like
Nah.
we don't have 100 rupee petrol, or like there is, or inflation is like approaching double digits. Maybe it might be past it. I haven't checked the figures for this one.
Hmm.
Or like people are losing jobs and stuff, and
Yeah.
people don't care about that because the reason they voted for Modi was not economics.
But that's the thing. So there is, this is the double, this is the sort of two opposing views on this. Because so I was watching an interview on John Oliver's show,
Mhm,
and he got some guy. Okay, I don't even know what his credentials were, and
mhm,
he was some sort of political commentator,
mhm.
and this was immediately after Modi's like confirmation in 2014 that he has won the
Okay.
election, and he
Mhm.
wanted like a sort of like, they could not get an Indian guy from India, so they got an like a person
Hassan Minaj.
from
Not Hassan Minaj, but
yeah, like that category of people, yes. So like I don't think he was even an NR. I think he was, his parents were first generation immigrants, and like he was
mm,
born and brought up, but he had sort of stayed in touch with like what's going on in India, and
right.
so his entire like talk was that, okay, no, let's just forget all that, all that nationalist stuff that he had been implicated in the past, and like all the what happened in
2002.
Gujarat, and yeah, yeah, all that,
2002, basically.
2002. And he was like, so John Oliver brought that up because, so as a guest he can't antagonize that guy much, so he was not antagonizing him much, but he was like, okay, but what about that, what about, how. So he said this line, the person that John Oliver had invited, that his entire political campaign has been very careful about avoiding mentioning that, and avoiding mentioning any sort of cultural thing, which is his words. Okay, I don't,
In 2014.
in 2014, and
Is I don't know if that is true. Like
no, no, but
I
that's the
don't
thing. Yeah,
remember it, but I don't know. But it seems true to me. Like I don't
Modi, yeah, I don't think
like.
Modi himself or his campaign directly was banking much on this, because that time was a time at which everybody hated Congress more than they
Yeah,
liked BJP or anything else, in fact.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember. Like it was wild.
yeah. Everybody
Uh,
hated Congress's guts. They were like, fuck off.
like
Somehow.
like there was this when like just a few years before, I was in like 12th standard, and every time we talked about politics, it was about like this scam and that scam and 2G and
Yeah.
Commonwealth and and like it used to be like every other day it used to be like scam after scam, right?
And
like
then,
and
yeah.
and you used to have news channels like actually talking to the government, not like licking their boots and like
Being
actually like
critical.
yelling,
Yeah.
like actually saying stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
actually saying that why is the government doing this, why is the government like where is this money gone, why this is like your tax money, blah blah blah. And I don't know.
And
Sometimes it feels.
one thing that we
Go
should
ahead.
not forget also is 2012, the whole Jan Lokpal bill
Yeah,
protests. Okay, and what that gave birth to also, because that gave birth to Kejriwal, that gave birth to, Ramdev hopping on that train and being like, yeah, Kala Dhan wapis karo, right? That
mm,
he co-opted that point that, my,
like so many of these people became popular because of that, right?
yeah,
Kejriwal, Meenakshi Lekhi, not maybe not Meenakshi Lekhi. What's his name? Shazia Ilmi,
hmm,
uh, Ramdev, obviously.
yeah,
Uh, at least, I think, maybe not. I think Subramanyam Swami became more popular during that time. Although obviously he has always been like the sort of fringe character,
yeah.
but like he's always been like a Sanghi, right? So it's like
Yeah,
it's
but
difficult
that's the
to.
thing. So that's the reason why I was bringing up Ramdev also, because
Mhm.
now you already have a population that's primed. That, so okay, what does
They'll
Congress?
never vote for the Congress.
Yeah, and what does Congress represent? Secularism. That was their big. That was their platform. That had always been their platform. That is still their platform. Secularism. That, okay, no partiality towards any religion or any sect of people, and
You know
they
what?
were,
One
yeah,
what maybe I was wrong.
what
Like I was almost certainly wrong.
about?
There when like the election started coming up, I started hearing this phrase very often. You might have heard it too, pseudo-secularism or
Exactly.
SICK secularism, you might have heard.
Secularism. Yep, yep, yep,
Like
yep.
the idea that apparently Muslims are privileged in this country,
In the
you
name
know?
of secularism. Yes.
And like every government in this country has been pandering to Muslims and calling it secularism, etc., etc., which
Yep.
is like which is like partly true, but like you can't really call it pandering when like you pander once to one community and you pander 10 times to another community, right? Like it's just like
So here's what I think
like
was the,
people like
yeah,
people always point to this thing, right? Your
yeah.
people always point to no sh- what's her name, yaar? The woman who got a divorce and the woman who got a divorce and then Rajiv Gandhi kind of changed divorce law for Muslims or something.
Oh, Bano,
Yes,
Shabano.
Shabano.
Yeah, Shabano. Yes.
Yeah,
That
I don't
was
know
a
how I forgot
pretty,
Shabano.
yeah. Isn't that in like our NCRT textbooks?
I think it was not when like it probably wasn't when I was in school, but like I've heard it hundreds of times. It
Yeah, it's
just
a very
slipped my
popular.
mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Shabano is like generally the case people point to when people say that like the Congress panders to Muslims and stuff. And in that case, it is almost certainly true. But like
Not
in
just
general,
not just that case, but the overall existence of the Muslim personal law, the Muslim personal code, like you, like having,
like personal laws in general, really, yeah.
but their problem is not with personal laws in general. Their problem is
Their
with
problem
Muslim
is with
personal law.
Muslim personal law, yeah.
Yeah, because you know why? Because okay, Muslim personal law allows for
Like wo
polygamy.
चार
Yeah,
चार शादियां
and they're
like
like,
that is your standard
yeah,
talking point, right? Like
exactly.
Musalman चार चार शादियां करती है and then they will have like and then that ties into the talking point of
Oh yeah, yeah. That, and that
this
used to
thing.
be when I was little, and even before all this 2012 and 14 happened. Even then, it was this big talking point कि चार बीवी 10 बच्चे, इस
Mm,
type से, like they made some chant out of it. I don't remember exactly, but
mm,
yeah, this had been always been a talking point, and it's like okay, and then there are things like, but they don't really care about what is the implication of like this asymmetrical polygamy that is allowed in Muslim personal law. They don't care about the sociological implication of it. It's just that they,
yeah, because
yeah,
like it's not like these guys think patriarchy is somehow bad. Like
exactly. बोलते हैं,
like
उनकी पेट्रियार्की खराब है, देयर पेट्रियार्की
huh.
इज द बैड पेट्रियार्की, आर पेट्रियार्की इज द गुड पेट्रियार्की. Okay.
Yeah, like it's like because you see the same people who are like shit. Sorry. Do you see the same people who are like Muslims are bad and they treat their this thing is bad. They treat their women badly, and then the
Yeah.
same people will be like, हम अपनी बेटी को इसके like घर को बाहर जाने नहीं देते after like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And like
Yeah, but where, exactly that's the thing. Where did they arbitrarily drew this line that इतनी patriarchy ठीक है उससे ज़्यादा अच्छी like this much patriarchy is enough. Beyond that patriarchy, no, 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 no. Okay, so that's
yeah,
like okay. How did they draw
like
that line? No patriarchy is good, dude.
yeah, and like because for them again, like you are, as you said, it's like the point is not that patriarchy is bad. The point is that Muslim patriarchy is bad because Muslims are bad. Like
Exactly. It all comes down to that axiomatic problem. Muslims are bad. It's an axiom for these people. It's the starting point of all their political advocacy. Muslims are bad. Okay. And it's
like
not even
and,
that. So
and the
I
thing is
yeah.
sometimes it feels like it's even expanding because there are like so many places where Christians get like shit on, right? Like
Yeah.
in like northeastern stuff.
Yeah. So there is as far
I
as
think
I
with
can
Christians it's slightly more complicated, but
yeah.
like with
Because
Muslims it is
yeah.
like clear cut.
Because as far as I can see, there is some trauma from like leftover from the British Raj as well, because British Raj facilitated the missionary like movements in like certain parts of the country
It
where
did.
it's like, huh?
It did.
Yeah, oh definitely. They were like because that anywhere the British Empire goes, like that means okay now that's the safe landing ground for the missionaries. I'm pretty sure missionaries had been there, but
Like there
especially
was
after
some, but like the bulk of from as far as I know, the bulk of like Christians are mostly like in places where like Portuguese were like more this thing, right?
no, but there are those are like so one thing are
Like we are talking
converts.
about places like Goa and Goa and your West Coast sort of
Mhm.
Christians.
One thing is like hereditary kind of religion passed down and sort of cultures intermixing and all that. One thing is conversion. That's the
Mhm,
biggest thing. So a big talking point or big like anti talking point against Christians in
mhm.
India is the history of forced conversions or
Right.
or incentivized conversions where
Yeah, your standard term for this thing is rice bag, right?
rice bag Christians, exactly, which is like, okay, these people get a rice bag for attending church every Sunday, and otherwise, so these people, so this is of course a uh, dog whistle for people who were lower caste under the Hindu system and
Mm-hmm.
converted to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like okay, yeah, the only reason they betrayed quote unquote their religion was to
Was
for food
mercenary
for
reasons.
yes, which is like okay, if you are admitting that, can you really
Like,
blame them?
yeah, like I like at this point it is like, are we the baddies? You know? Like we like they converted because they did not have like dignity and food
Hmm.
and this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And this how is this supposed to make them the villains exactly?
And I don't know, dude. This is like this is incentivized is one thing which is much more complicated and like much more vicious and toxic. But there's also narratives that okay, there are some like actually forced, like physically forced conversions, which are like okay, torturing people and sort of like under the protection of the British government and or any colonial government, colonial government, which is because all these European
like
nations were
like with
pretty
Portuguese like
yeah
with the Portuguese it is relatively this thing. It's relatively
more
what's the word?
incentives. Yeah.
Not just incentives, like what's the word here?
Cultural?
Written down.
Okay.
Like
Uh,
it is it is recorded
recorded.
more.
Okay.
Like
All right.
a lot of like religious persecution is recorded
Right,
when it
right, right.
comes to like the Portuguese. With the British, I think it's different.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I know a lot of people like people can like because it's always complicated, right? You're always going to have people who like convert, who like, and some people who are like Anglos, like
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
Anglo Indians still form like a decent portion of not not super large, but like definitely
But they are a
about
recognized
1%.
group. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
yeah,
we're talking like 1%, maybe,
yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. It's a
It's
very
probably
small
less than
population.
1%, but it's probably less than 1%. But
Yeah,
like it's there, right?
yeah,
With it like with British, it's difficult to say because I don't because there wasn't that much in terms of like like Protestant Christianity growing in India. Like the British weren't
mm,
Catholics, and
mm,
because and the Portuguese were, and
mm.
like that is why like it's much more clear in that case.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, the reason was also that what happened in the Northeast, a lot of that antagonism is also rooted because I think they took much more liberties with the rural and tribal
Oh yeah,
populations.
that's probably true.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
but that's the thing. So that's like uh, coming back to like Muslim people, right? Or like perception of Muslim people among the trads is
Mhm.
that is this axiomatic hatred of them, where it's nothing that they know beyond Muslim people are bad. And I asked him that, okay, is it that maybe is it an ideological thing where it's like, okay, you don't like their doctrine but you are fine with the people? Because I remember we had a classmate in college who was Muslim, and we like not just one, like we had like a couple of Muslim classmates, and they
Mhm.
used to talk to us all the time. We used to like have fun, like just talking to each other. It was not like, okay, we were like, even that guy was not like intentionally avoiding him. So I was like, okay, maybe is it that kind of a thing where it's that you don't like their doctrine but you are sympathetic to the people? And he was like, if those were if those people were good people, if Muslim people were good people, they would not be Muslim. If they are still following Islam, that is a indictment of their character. And so it is crazy. Like I did not continue my conversations. I
I mean,
blocked
what can you
him.
say at that point, right? It's
Yeah, I blocked him in a couple of days of conversation. I was like, I'm done.
like what do you even say? Like if you're going to get into some like stupid shit, like if any person who believes in a religion which is problematic is oh fuck, sorry. Any person
Perceived
who
to be
believes
problematic, it's fine.
no
It's
no no
fine
it
to
is
say it is
no 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 it
perceived.
is
Yeah,
problematic. I would say
yeah,
it's problematic. Like
yeah,
it's not a any person who belongs to a religion that is problematic is ipso facto bad. Like
yeah,
what?
yeah. People,
Like
yeah. Hmm.
my dude, you belong to a religion whose doctrine for at least 500 years,
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
500 years,
yeah.
has been a literal caste based hierarchy based on birth.
And that's the funny thing because
And
when you
no no no
bring that up,
like
yeah,
if you say like if you are going to get to the point of that, then like you are not there is then everybody deserves to like die, right?
exactly. But that's the thing. Once you bring this up, right? This is the thing. It circles back to the same thing. He was like, okay, no, but where is caste system defined in? Like, where is the bad caste system defined in? Because some level of caste system, I was like, okay, overall, what do you think about caste? He's like, okay,
One second, one
there
second.
should be. Huh? Sorry. Hello. Are you saying something?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah,
Yeah.
door. Sorry.
Okay. So I was saying that this comes back to that, okay, where in Hindu scriptures is untouchability defined? Because they are fine with some level of caste system. Because I asked, okay, in general, what do you think about the caste system? He's like, caste should be there. Like, okay, yeah, you know what he threw at
It's
me?
that kind of caste. Actually, I think caste system is not all that bad, but it should not be defined by birth or something.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
This is
Is this a track talking point?
It is a very common talking point. I don't know if it's even like trad, but like I know because but I've heard this stuff.
Yeah, he did exactly say this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that exists. It's called class. Read some Marx. No, but you know what he threw at me, the his knee jerk reaction to when I asked, okay, what do you overall think about caste? Should it be respected? Should it be maintained? He was like, what do you think about these all these new genders popping up every day?
Oh
Should they all be
no.
respected?
Oh no.
Okay.
Does he is he going to get into this thing? The left wants 5 million genders or something.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, you are borrowing talking points from these Western guys. You're like, oh, no, 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 these Western guys are all stupid. They all believe in their stupid monotheistic gods. As if the problem with their
Yeah,
religiosity is
that's the problem.
the
That's the real problem.
monotheism
Only
is the problem. Oh my God. Okay, and it was like, okay, now it's as you said, what do you even say anymore? What can you even say? Because we are not operating on the same page. We are not on the same page. We are operating on different levels of what is important to us, right? For me, if it important is like, okay, everybody have a better standard of living and more happiness is life. His standard is, no, Muslims should be eradicated. That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. Like, so
Yeah.
there is no reconciliation here. And it's like, because I think it was a little bit of my responsibility, because what I did was I was like, okay, I want you to try to convert me to your ideology. So treat me as somebody who you're trying to get on your side. Okay,
Mhm.
I want to see what happens. And
Mhm.
like the literal first thing is like, okay, what do you believe? What are your axioms? I was like, okay, why do you want to know? It's like, okay, if I know the axioms, then I'll be able to mold them
Or at least
into,
speak to you in your language. Like that's the
yeah.
general idea, right?
And I said that should not be a thing, right? It should not be that, okay, because he's openly inviting me to be manipulated. He's asking me, okay, what do you currently believe? Let me manipulate you into maintaining your current belief, but changing it
Being
in a
more
way in which
open
the
to,
outcome is aligned with mine.
yeah, being more open to what I like believe.
Yes. It's just like, okay, you are transparently gaslighting me. You're being transparent about it. You're asking me to be the gaslit. And because there's a lot of things, I was like, okay, what is there like, it should not be. So is it like, is this step important? Can't you just point me to the source of your ideology? Like, let's say if somebody asks me what my source of my ideology is, okay, it will be a little embarrassing, but I can point to Wash. Okay, it will be a little embarrassing, it will be
Literal
difficult,
washist.
it will be difficult to
NKG
explain.
literal washist.
It will be difficult to explain why when you Google Watch the autocomplete says pedophile, but
It does? It does?
it
Wait,
says
shit.
something. It says something like that. Wash. If I just Google wash,
Wash.
no, no, no,
Wash Twitter, wash girlfriend, wash meaning, wash Reddit,
no,
wash
it's not
Twitch,
that. I don't
Vaishali,
know. No, no,
Vaishno Devi.
no, no, no. Maybe just search wash. Just hit search.
Okay.
Okay. I guess it is better now, because you know what
Yeah.
used to be
uh,
earlier, the case. If you search Wash,
the
it will be
poppy
like
thing.
some Reddit thread of why does everybody call Wash a pedophile? Okay,
Oh
it was
God.
so funny.
Also, apparently, Wash now has a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I guess good for him.
It's genuinely weird because like I remember when I started watching Wash
Yeah,
in 2019.
yeah,
Yeah, I started watching Wash in 2019. I was like, that was also the year I was on, like, I called into the show, you know?
yeah. My God, this is so interesting. Somebody has given information with citations. They're like,
Mm.
okay, nice. So at least it's not like, okay, cool. It's a very short page, but cool that he has that. But yeah, it's so basically what I'm saying, right? Okay, so if I somebody asks me to explain my views, my philosophy, my morality, I won't need to know your morality. I would just start with mine. So I will start saying, okay, my axiom is, okay, my philosophy, foundational philosophy is
Like the
rule
thing is when you say
utilitarian.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like the thing is when you say that, the issue is when you say that you make yourself vulnerable because there are a lot of things when that because there are a lot of things that can be criticized when it comes to, if you make yourself open, you make
Hmm.
yourself open also to like attacks, right?
Yeah.
Because like if I say, for example, getting back to Vashism,
Yeah.
if I say that I am like a big fan, like I'm a big fan of Vaush, then people immediately can jump to, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Associations. Yeah.
yeah, like Vaush is bad because he did this or did that, or like did like the poppy thing, or
Hmm.
did the said that the US should nuke Israel or something,
Yeah.
uh, and uh, and then you have to kind of defend that. But
Yes.
even even outside internet celebrity scenarios,
No, but
like
even that wash was just like an example of where I can point
yeah, but like even in
someone
general,
to.
right?
Yeah.
If I say that if you say that you're a socialist, then
Yeah.
you have to then people immediately jump to like Soviet Union or like
China.
most quote unquote socialist states. Most quote unquote socialist states. Like even
Yeah.
like some people might say China, some people might go like your standard route otherwise,
Some
right?
people
Like
might call you urban Naxals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that. Like people will immediately say you are a Maoist, you support people being killed, etc., etc. If you say you're a liberal, then people jump on you because saying that like liberalism has led to so much death, so much like so many countries becoming poor and like etc., etc. Like if you put yourself out there,
Hmm.
like if you are clear as to like what it is that you're if it is clear that what you say, what your ideology is,
Yeah.
then then you are like open to it. But then you are open to attack. But if you constantly keep like saying that, oh no, I don't know if what I believe in, I am just I just agree sometimes with these people and sometimes with that people. And
Even that is fine. What the especially slimy thing about what that guy said to me when I asked him to explain his ideology, and he told what is my ideology. Like he asked me what my ideology is. The especially slimy thing that I found there was that what he is trying to do is not, as you said, once you declare your ideology you open yourself up to criticism. So of
mm,
course if I say I'm a socialist, then I will have to defend socialist ideas.
your
Okay.
standard, your not even socialist ideas, your standard what is it, vuvuzela,
Yeah,
uh
100 million
vuvuzela
dead.
iPhone 100 million dead.
Exactly. So so and fine, I should be able to do that. So that's why I openly call myself a socialist. I don't hide it. And some people try to throw communist at me as an insult. It's really funny to me. Okay, because okay, fine, I'm not, but it's also not an insult to me. So
No, like people jump on you on shit.
yeah.
Like like people like again it's your standard that only, right? Vuvuzela.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But if somebody said, okay, Nikhil, what is your ideology? I want to understand it. And my first response is, no, first tell me what your ideology is, and I'm going to twist it into matching mine. Okay. And that is the worst thing to me. That is openly manipulation. So you are admitting that everybody who believes in what you believe in have been tricked into it, if
Yeah,
that is the
like that's a
essential
standard
component of it.
that's a very conservative like talking point, right?
Yeah.
Like for anything, if people believe something that they don't like, it's not that they actually believe it. A lot of them have been tricked. Like
Yes.
black people who are left wing aren't actually left wing. They have been on the quote unquote like I suppose for in the US context,
Yeah.
they have been on the quote unquote democratic plantation.
Yes. Yeah.
Gay people aren't
You
actually
cannot
gay.
even, they
There
are
is that's the whole
discouraged. Yeah.
yeah, like gay people aren't gay people or trans people or like people like that. They don't like they aren't like quote unquote they aren't like actually gay or trans, like like as like a birth thing.
Yeah.
They were groomed into it, and that's like a lot of the whole
Yeah.
groomer narrative that is going on among in the US, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
like and in in India it is somewhat similar, somewhat.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sorry, I don't know. I think I'm drinking too much cold water. Uh, and like in India also, like Hindus have been taught to demonize Hindus, and by Urdu would, and
Oh my
like
God. What is this? What is Urdu
we
word?
have to get into Urdu would soon. Maybe today, hopefully. But but like in general, yeah, quote unquote Urdu would. And like school textbooks were created by Marxist historians or something.
Yeah,
Like
we have touched upon how. Yeah.
Apparently Irfan Habib is like a Marxist or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. That's the we have touched upon it in the previous episode how the cultural Marxist narrative has been co-opted by the Hindu right wing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
basically like, and a big part of that is like this one, right? Agnihotri.
Mm-hmm.
Your Vivek Agnihotri, because
Yeah.
he I think is probably the most like direct one-to-one guy you can get to with some, compared to someone like I don't know, Tucker maybe. Tucker is not Tucker doesn't seem like the word, but obvious he seems more like a Ben Shapiro, but more Indianized, you know.
Yep.
Ben Shapiro,
Yeah. No,
like
understandable. Yeah.
he's obviously much more he's obviously much more openly hateful. Shapiro
Mm.
is also hateful, but like he's not like this.
He
But
tries to have like that sort of
like
rationalize.
Shapiro will never
Yeah.
Shapiro will say that opposing left wing ideology is facts and logic. But I don't think Agnihotri bothers with that. But I do think he does kind of lean into the sort of like American right wing model of like
Yeah.
like like it's closer to the model than like actual talking points, because actual talking
Yes.
points always vary, right?
Yes. And they have just so, as you said, they have copy pasted and then search replaced terms that
Mm.
okay, some things that are not there in India, so we can't.
Yeah, so like cultural Marxists have become urban Naxals, you know?
Precisely that. And so this is this sort of thing, and the underlying principle is the same. And this so there, as I was talking about, right, that there is a class of people who support Modi because they think Modi's politics are like policies or and stuff are good, and it's actually good that he is not so openly anti-Muslim, right? Which
Mm.
uh, and even that, so the reason why I brought up that guy from the John Oliver interview is because
Mhm.
he also did the thing that he was saying that the Modi campaign was
Oh,
doing.
like
He Yeah.
I actually tried googling it, and I'm trying to find like where
No, if you just
who
search
this guy was.
John Oliver Modi, just search on YouTube.
Yeah, the thing is, John Oliver Modi, it gets one from February 2020, like from when your CAA protests happened,
No, I think, okay, wait. The uh
and that one
it
was actually funnier because that got banned. You know, like Hotstar didn't show that episode.
That's so funny. Okay, now I remember. The search term that I used was John Oliver Indian elections 2014, and the guy I'm talking about is Fareed Zakaria.
Oh,
Okay,
wait,
is he somebody? I
Farid,
don't know who he is.
Farid Zakaria is a Muslim.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but is he
Like
famous?
he's famous. Farid Zakaria is like a journalist, right?
They don't tell what his
He's like a
credentials
Salem
are.
guy. Like the thing is, obviously they don't like maybe obviously is not the wrong word, but
Yeah.
like they don't mention him because for the same reason you don't mention that Shah Rukh Khan is an actor.
Okay, so he's iconic, but he's
He's
not.
relatively
Okay.
not maybe not maybe Shah Rukh Khan is a bit of an exaggeration, but like he's like relatively
People on
famous. Yeah,
American TV know him, is it?
yeah.
Okay.
Like this is
Okay,
a guy on
yeah.
CNN. Yeah,
Oh, interesting. But
like
yeah,
this is not
so
some rando.
random. No, but that does not affect what I'm saying. But Like he spent the entire interview sort of, so he was doing this rationalism thing, okay? So that's
Yeah,
what I
I
was
think a lot of
talking
people
about.
did that. I did that.
Yeah, it talked. So that's the thing. When you brought up Ben Shapiro, it brought me back to this, because what Ben Shapiro does, as you said, is not so much openly hateful, when whether it's more rationally hateful. Hate is same. The amount of hate is same.
Rationalizing. It's
Yeah.
rationalizing hatred is by saying that, like, sorry, I don't actually hate these people.
No,
I
but
don't
yeah, very few people can do that.
I
It's
don't
fine.
actually hate these people, but I have just rationally and logically and factually come to to these conclusions that helping these people is like a bad idea. You know,
Yeah, like helping Palestinians is a bad
helping
thing.
helping
Yeah.
Palestinians, helping Black people in the U.S., helping Muslims in the U.S., or etc. Like there's actually this video up which kind of demonstrate showed like the history of Ben Shapiro's like political journey,
Hmm.
so to speak.
Hmm.
And like when he was like he actually got into he actually like there's the reason Ben Shapiro was actually kind of seen as like a child prodigy, you know, like at
Okay.
17 he was writing columns
Haha, no,
for
no, I know about that. I definitely
like
know
have
about
you
that.
read the ones where he is like going full like bloodlust about Palestinians or something?
Yeah, and
It's
what he says
wild.
about it, I know, and he has addressed it. He is like, I will not delete it, but I have issued an apology for writing it. Which is like,
Yeah, that I respect, but like,
yeah.
bro,
It was
bro.
crazy. But that's the thing.
And it's not even an indictment on him. He was 17 years old.
Yeah,
It's it's an indictment on the people who like published him. This is not like it's not like this is something he wrote like in a notebook somewhere, right? This was
yeah,
published in like this was like in a national publication.
yeah. And from this interview, what Farid Zakaria, I felt like he was doing the entire time is
Mhm.
doing the same thing. Don't talk about the cultural talking points. Don't talk about Hindu Muslim. Don't talk about that and this. He's like, the people of India have recognized finally that subsidies are not enough, handouts are not enough. People need to get on their feet, and people need opportunities more than handouts. And Congress's whole platform had been subsidies, aka handouts. So I was like, so this is
Yeah,
the,
but I
yeah.
think partly this is something that has aged very poorly. Obviously, obviously it has aged very poorly. I but can
No,
I
but his assertion
can I
at
ask
that
you how old
time.
you are?
Huh?
How old are you? Like general
I
question.
am turning 26 in June.
So if you're turning 26, how old were you when Modi got elected?
Yeah, I was in school. I remember I was in, like, I think the final year of school.
Like 10th
uh
standard, 12th standard.
12th.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The thing is because like I was in like second or third year of college,
Okay.
and it was like and like because I remember a lot of this very clearly because like we all like in college and stuff I had like friends, right? Like and I was in like a college which was like and my engineering college was basically like an RSS kind of place.
Oh my God. Okay.
uh and like we didn't have I don't think we had Modi show up, but we had Vajpayee show up, and we
Mm-hmm.
had Advani show up,
Mm-hmm.
like for things. So this is very much like a this is very much like an RSS like affiliated sort
Mm-hmm.
of college, and even like there, and I remember like the talking points that kind of happened when people started talking about politics, right? Because like because the topic kept coming up because of like scams and the election is coming, and like Gujarat model was like the big term, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And like people talking about how like Gujarat is economically booming and how the Congress is messing up all of like India and this and like scams basically.
Yeah.
And like at that point, people and like at that point, I think maybe like I think maybe Farid agreed, and I feel I can understand why he wanted it that way because when it comes to Muslims, I don't think he was alone in that because
Yeah.
like I had Muslim friends like
Mm.
even in this college,
Yeah,
and and these guys were like at the few times we kind of discuss politics, I think a
yeah,
lot of these guys were also like, let's see, like like it's a sort of cautious optimism, right? Because because after the whole Congress thing, it felt like it after all the issues that the Congress was showing, it
yeah,
felt like Congress's position time and power had become untenable. And and when that happens, you kind of just have to kind of hope that this thing, the other guy, even if he is infamous for, Gujarat,
yeah.
is is going to be, better, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. So even in that interview, but the thing is, he was engaging in so much of an apologism. So that's the thing, which this illustrates how people's axioms affect their ideology. Is if your axiom is okay, economic growth, then you would be willing to rationalize away everything bad about Modi. So it could be something like he was asked that what about that visa ban, because of that
Because of
allegation
that, yeah.
with him. Now his visa to the US was banned, and
Mm,
uh, now they have lifted it or something like that was a discussion point.
mhm.
And he was like, this is actually, it's so funny, it's such an unfair ban, because uh, there is only one world leader who has been banned because of the reasons because of which Modi's visa was banned, and which specifically was that, what I'm not saying that what he was saying is not true, because as far as I can tell, he was telling the correct thing, because what happened is around 2002 there was a US committee on religious extremism,
Mhm.
intolerance kind of thing, and that committee was there to evaluate that how seriously does the government take intolerance, because 9/11 was not so far
Did he
behind.
like push the? Did he like also like have the things that's like i- like this is only Modi has been banned because of like religious
Extreme,
intolerance,
precisely, that was
when
his.
there are
Yeah,
so many other countries where where they're religiously intolerant and like
yeah.
nobody gives a shit, like
he
Vesa.
went he went as far as to say, what about countries like Saudi Arabia, whose whose biggest export to the world has been religious intolerance?
I'd say second biggest.
Sorry, what?
I'd say second biggest, but I get you.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't care about that, he's making a
Right, right,
point.
right. Like, yeah, yeah. Like
Okay,
I get it. Like a lot of this just comes off like part of it comes off as cope, and part of it comes off as like
it's
uh,
not false, it's the
it's
same
just cope.
thing.
Ah, it's cope basically.
Yeah, but it is the same apologism,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. It's definitely a
oh,
politics.
okay, but that does not, if the US ban was like a frantic effort to appear taking in religious intolerance seriously, and they just took the first headline of about religious intolerance and picked a guy to ban. Okay, the US did that, fine. That does not undo everything that's known about Modi.
Yeah, but like he's just appealing to like he's just saying that like the US are hypocrites, right? Like it's your standard.
Exactly,
It's a very
exactly.
standard Sangi talking point. Like everybody who criticizes us is hypocrites. Like
But
if you say
But how
if
can
you
you call
say
this guy, Farid guy, a Sangi? Can you call him a Sangi? Is he the
I don't
rare
think
Muslim Sangi?
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
But he's
I don't
saying those
or
things.
you can have a Sangi talking point and not be a Sangi.
Right, exactly, exactly. I agree
Like
there. Yeah.
if you can like if all your talking points are Sangi, then like wo thoda then you have to be like a bit question marky. But and Muslim Sanghis do exist. For like obviously you may know, like you're talking, but in general, I don't think he's a Sanghi. I just think it's a weird position to be put. Not weird necessarily, but it's a strange position to be in because you kind of have to because some
Yeah, I mean, you
because
don't want to
if
shit
you have
on.
an
Yeah,
it's not that
yeah.
if your country like your the country which you were born in and the country which you are ethnically, which forms like your
Hmm.
ethnicity and stuff.
Yeah.
If that country has by a landslide elected a guy,
Yeah.
and by a landslide, like
Yeah. Exactly.
this was not even close in 2014.
Yeah.
If your country has by a landslide elected a guy,
Yeah.
and and you are having like a foreign journalist calling him a bigot,
Yeah.
and you then to some extent people do feel that you are by extension calling the country bigoted.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what people did with John Oliver also. John Oliver did a segment on Modi much later on, and I
Yeah,
think
2020, na,
yeah,
when your CA protests were going on.
yeah, and then who was it? Not Arnab Goswami. Was it Arnab Goswami who?
It was Arnab Goswami, yeah.
Yeah, who responded to it, and then it was like a petty, argument. It turned
Mr.
into
John Oliver.
yes, yeah, that was so cringe. And I think
I don't
yeah,
remember what the argument was. I just remember like that little voice sample.
no, it was just
Mr.
it
John.
was see the John Oliver's whole thing is like insult comedy, like right, 50% insult comedy and
Mhm.
50% liberal talking points, which is it's a sort of gateway to leftist ideas,
Mhm.
but so his insult comedy, and I think he took some joke which John Oliver does for everyone, anyone he covers. He
Mhm.
makes some unrelated joke, like it's like,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
yeah, look how funny he sounds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
Like if
Did
you
he call him
watch
racist?
something, I don't even remember what. It was so petty. It was such insignificant thing.
Did he call him racist? Oh my God, please tell me he called him racist.
No, no, no. No, okay. Arnab Goswami might have implied that John Oliver is racist, yes.
Hmm.
But if you watch John Oliver's segment on Lukashenko, his literally 50% of it is making fun of his personal preferences.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know
And
that. Like he's done that for like literally every like person he's talked about. I remember he had done like this thing. I think he spent like 10 about a minute, a whole minute talking about uh Gurbanguly Burdi Muhammadov's name.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
is he
Gabanguli.
Azerbaijani or Uzbek?
Yeah. Something like
Gurbanguly.
I don't even know. He pronounced it Gabanguli. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's Gurbanguly Berdi Muhammadov.
Wow.
He is Turkmenistan president,
Yeah.
was at that time.
Yeah.
Like off like 20 minutes, 1 minute he spends on like the name. Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He riffs on it. He that
yeah, yeah,
was his. It's not a news show he's running. He's running an entertainment show, and it's like, yeah, it's what we call masala, right?
yeah, right.
So it's fine, but some people took it personally, and I guess Farid, the oh my god, I keep forgetting his last name.
Zakaria.
Zakaria didn't. He wanted to avoid that sort of a thing. He wanted to keep his dignity, and
Yeah, but I think like you got the thing right.
yeah,
Like the idea, like again, if your country
yeah.
elects a guy with overwhelming majority,
Hmm.
and
You don't want
and
to be that out of touch NRI who
it's not just that.
yeah,
If a foreign journalist is asking you
yeah.
why did your country elect this bigot,
Hmm.
the sort of inherent implication is that this makes your country bigoted,
Yeah, and I guess yeah, as you said, it's like
and people
national
kind of react
representation.
to that.
Yeah, it's
Like
a matter of
for
national
example,
representation. That
yeah,
yeah.
like it's something that I think it's part of the immigrant experience that
Hmm.
doesn't that it's difficult to like sort of translate, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because like for instance, like if like ask any reasonably left-wing Pakistani,
Hmm.
for instance,
Hmm.
about 90% of Pakistani politicians, and they will tell you that they are that a lot of them are bigots, right?
Hmm.
Like Imran Khan, Nawaz Sharif. I don't know about Shehbaz, but like you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
the people before. And but if like a white guy asks you, it it seems like it seems like it seems like an attack, you know?
I 100% get what you mean, and in fact, this has happened with me on Discord, where it's like, in the Vaush Discord, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we openly, we are like, yeah, we don't like Modi, we don't like his policies, we don't this and that, we criticize things culturally as well, some
Mm-hmm.
cultural artifacts, some religious beliefs, extremism, all that, we openly engage in that, right?
Right,
But
right.
then when it comes to some dude, some or girl, being like, yeah, India sucks, and it's like, hold on a minute, hold on, no, you can't say that. Yeah, I'll not agree to that. I won't say that. Okay, so here's the funny thing: there's somebody who started talking to me about Indian wedding traditions, and they started asking more and more particular questions where I'm more like, I was like, okay, marriages, once they are agreed upon, everybody is invested in it, the families are invested in it, and it is very difficult to break them off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it started with talking about how low key weddings are good, and then one another guy in the group talking started talking about how he has never been to low key parties, like low key like wedding parties, and I said, okay, maybe that has something to do with you only attending Indian parties on account of you being Indian. So he was like, yeah. And then somebody started talking more and more about, oh, what happens if this happens? What if the girl doesn't want to marry? What if, the marriage gets broken for this and that? And then she started like asking weird questions and like, oh, what if the groom rejects the bride because of smelly body odor? And like, and then she said that, yeah, I'm just making fun of it. I find making fun of Indian marital traditions funny. And I'm like,
I don't
hold
even
on.
know what like marital tradition is, but
I
like,
mean, their whole thing, no, are like doing the whole 5 day, 1 week, 1 month long procession of this, that. You have this ceremony,
I don't
that
know if that would,
ceremony.
I think that is just like, to be fair, I don't know if I would call that a marital tradition. I think that is just like people showing off their wealth, which is like global. But
Yeah, but don't you see that even poorer families now, because of this cultural permeation, they also now tend to
yeah,
want to
because
do
it's
that.
like a, yeah, it's like because it's like a prestige issue.
Yeah, and but also that everybody is doing it. I feel like this is also a lot of peer pressure where it's like, oh, won't you do haldi, won't you do sangeet, won't you do this, won't you do that? And a lot of lot of these multiple events are actually originating from like rural areas. But there the thing is, a big part of it was, because I've been to weddings in my parents village, right? That it's a literal community effort. So
Hmm.
if a feast needs to be organized,
Then
then
everybody will cook.
everybody pitches in terms of,
Like it's kind of like a potluck and stuff
yeah,
like that.
not
Like
even
that.
just, no, like potluck would be like everybody cooks different things. It's not like that. Still, cooking is somebody who they hire somebody to cook the entire meal, but to serve the food, to get the ingredients, for example, okay, to buy the
Hmm.
ingredients, those are like crowdsourced. Okay,
Hmm.
they're like, you don't hire, you don't buy the food. What you do is you hire a dhaba wala,
Hmm.
and you give him the ingredients that you can afford. Okay,
Hmm.
and then you tell him these many people are going to come to eat, and these many puri, this much sabji you have
Right,
to
right.
cook, right?
Hmm.
And he will give you his budget, and then
Hmm.
with the ingredients that you provide, with the place that you provide, it's not even a
Hmm.
kitchen that like he has his on his own. You have to
Right.
tell where to sit and where to cook, and how you're like to provide him cylinders also sometimes. Okay, and it's all a community effort, it's all like sort of crowdsourced, right?
Hmm.
It comes from that. But then of course, with the accumulation of wealth and the stratification of economic class, it happens that then it becomes a matter of showing off that, oh, I can do all this by myself without accruing anyone's favor, right? And of course, then downstream, then that comes back to the people who are doing at a low level, right, at a lower economic class, which is like, okay, yeah, now it's a matter of prestige, as you said. And but
Like the
anyway,
prestige thing
yeah.
has been like relatively common, right? Because it's like it's always been like like I suppose people like there's always been like this idea of like prestige, etc., etc.
Yeah,
Like,
but then the prestige is also everybody is like so, because mostly marriages, and it is like something, at least in my community I know, that they keep in mind is that you don't marry within a village,
mhm,
because there is a good chance that you might have some relation, if you're living in the same village.
mhm,
Mobility is not high, and you might have some familial connection, so that will be bad. So it's usually
mhm,
inter village marriages, and
mhm,
the entire village is invested in the prestige of the family, or at least a bigger community. If people are not left to fend for themselves, and like you criticize what you want about like the traditional Indian culture, but at least the sense of community is there. Okay. and
mhm,
and I have seen that firsthand, because okay, like my it's not, so my family, or my parents family, actually my parents parents don't come from wealth. They come from
mhm,
like not even middle class, like, and uh, so so that tiny house, I've lived there, and that unpaved streets that they live on, right? And it's just like a grocery shop that's running the entire household. And like I've seen all of that, and it's like everybody pitches in, because nobody has this sense of separation, that no, my neighbor is a separate entity than me, so their success is completely unrelated to my success. That sense is absent in a rural setting. It's more of like, okay, my neighbors are suffering, that is in some way my failure as well. And people pitch
yeah,
in.
like people
Yeah.
say that like part of it is like worrying about atomization and stuff like that, right? Like people
Yeah.
talk about it in like a capitalist sense. But I don't know. Sometimes I worry that too much sometimes maybe it's a perspective thing. Uh like from what I have seen of village life,
Hmm.
uh, from from
From
what
your
I've seen of
personal
village life,
experience. Yeah.
from my personal experience, maybe
Yeah.
is that too many like your business is everybody's business is kind of not a very good thing, you know? It just
Yeah.
feels like because it feels like every, because people like because it feels like you cannot really live your life without having to justify everything all the
Yes.
time to
Yeah.
like the people
Yeah, I mean
like random people, you know.
that's the direct consequence of what I'm talking about. Is if everybody is invested in your existence, then it's not just that they will come in when you need help, or when they can help, but they will also come in when what they think is bad is happening in your house,
Mm.
right? They will make it your business. Exact. They will make it their own business to fix your house, right? According
Yeah,
to what they see
and the
fit.
thing is
Yeah.
like and the thing is because like this country is, to put it mildly, not exactly the most, you
Not
know,
the most progressive.
yeah, like and this is and that cuts across communities really. This is not
Yeah.
something that is exclusive to Hindus and or exclusive to Muslims or exclusive to even Christians really.
Yeah.
Like it's across, like you've seen that Pew Research poll, no?
Hmm.
Like wait,
That
uh
American Muslims are more progressive on an
no no no
average.
no 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 no
Okay.
the Indian Pew Research poll.
Okay.
Like I'm looking at it now. Uh mm, wait, shit. किधर गया? Like marrying across religions is like nobody likes that. Like zero religious people like that.
Hmm.
Like like when people like obviously it kind of puts the lie to the whole like love jihad bullshit because like but it also does mean that uh like the Indian form of like even a more idealistic form of Indian secularism is just means everybody lives together but separately, you know?
Yeah, that's what they try to push. I don't agree with it.
I mean, you don't. It's preferable to what this is, but like it's still not good, you know?
I know. Yeah, but But yeah, so that's so coming back to the same point, right? It's like, yeah, okay, I also don't like some of our this traditional structures and obligations that you created, but you don't get to be disrespectful about it. Okay.
No, you don't get to pretend that this is some kind of bigotry unique to those guys you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess
Or you
that
don't get, and you don't get to pretend that you don't like them because that they have bigoted values when you also have bigoted values.
yeah, I mean, and not even just that, but it's like you it to some degree seeing, because I see this so much, so many people are like, oh, you're living under fascism, right? I'm like, oh my god. It's like, okay, it's the nuance that they cannot get. They're like, okay, it's either democracy or fascism. They cannot understand that, okay, there is a democracy but there is a fascist at the center, right? It's like, yeah, it's like India is a fascist country for so many quote unquote like leftist American or European people even. Like, oh yeah, India is a fascist country now. Like, okay, listen, that's no. But yeah, it's coming back to what the Farid Zakaria guy was talking about. And what my point with bringing him up also was that, as you were saying, right, that when his election campaign was going on, you were hearing all those terms, pseudo-secular, and all that. And the thing is, there are two groups of people. One group of people are, as I mentioned, are that, okay, they want anything but Congress, and anything, because again, it's that same belief that it's not the system that's at fault, but it's the people. Okay, and a different people in the same system would give better outcomes, right? So that was a
Mm.
lot of people's ideology at that time, that anyone but Congress. Okay. The thing that made the most mark in my brain was Anna Hazare's Jan Lokpal
Yeah, I
protests.
think a lot of people kind of bought into that, right?
Yeah.
Like when he did that sort of like when basically all of these guys sat at Jantar Mantar, right?
Yeah.
And basically it was like that kind of captured the imagination of so many people.
Yes.
Like
And
like
yeah.
I was kind of paying like attention to it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So that's in my opinion, that is the thing, that okay, the India's biggest party has like completely lost its faith, right? People have completely lost faith in that. The second biggest party, BJP, will fill that
Right. So
vacuum.
like ipso facto that is going to like happen, right?
Yeah, and it's like that you don't need to get into so much rationalization about why Modi is good. Modi is just better than you know uh,
I
Sonia Gandhi by
I
proxy
don't
of
think he is better. I think in 2014 he
he
was the
appeared
better
better.
option.
Yeah.
He was probably definitely appeared to be the better option in 2014.
Yes.
I think I can defend people who voted for him in 2014. I
Yeah.
cannot defend anyone who voted for him in 2019.
No, but the thing is, because the opposing
Also
view. Yeah. Huh?
meme time.
Oh yeah.
I have sent
मेरे
you.
मेरे इतने करीब मत आओ, मैं तुम्हें बर्बाद कर दूंगी मोदी, बस मैं बर्बाद होना चाहता हूँ. Yeah, and this is the second group of people. Okay, this is the
Yeah.
anti-intellectual class, which unironically believed that this is the return of Hinduism, Hindutva supremacy. Okay, which
Like
is,
it's at that point like you must have seen that guy, right? The like the guy who had a interview at the petrol pump saying that even if petrol becomes 500 rupees he'll still vote for Modi. Like you must have seen that definitely.
I might have, and I might have forgotten it.
Like there is
I'm
this
Yeah, good.
like it's like a this thing that's roamed around quite a bit because it's like it's the kind of thing that makes you genuinely horrified because you start thinking that, oh my god, we have completely decoupled like economic performance from electoral performance.
Yep, yep. And that's the funniest thing. And like, there was a research paper written on the topic that
Mm-hmm.
why did Indians in 2019
Mm-hmm.
vote against their class interests? Why did, like, because it, because that the thesis of the
Like let
paper.
poor people vote more for Modi.
No, no. So the thesis of the paper, yeah. So the thesis of the paper was that
Could you
uh,
find a link?
I can, yeah. So basically, the
You can send it
thesis,
later,
yeah,
but like you can just
yeah. I'll send it to you later.
Aram sir.
The thesis was that how is it that across class boundaries everybody is voting for the same guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because don't even think about what are the actual choices. Just think about there is a clear stratification of class in India, very clear, very transparent. Okay, the wealth disparity is in your face. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then how is it that the poorest and the richest are consistently showing similar patterns of voting for Modi? Why are their voting patterns aligning? Right,
Mm-hmm.
which somebody who is like blindly
Like a
anti-left, right?
like a
Yeah,
like a like a like it completely kind of breaks the sort of Marxist sort of this thing
exactly.
that people vote in their class interest.
Yeah, so so don't forget about whose class interest was with which candidate. Even if you just pay attention to what is the level of alignment that they have, how are different classes so aligned, what's happening. And I
Mm,
guess a big part of that is no one cares about economic class, because that a portion of caring about economic issues brings naturally a level of class consciousness.
mm,
You develop this class antagonism, which is like a little bit of that is required. Like I don't advocate guillotining the bourgeoisie, but like the level of class consciousness is required for you to realize, oh, economic stuff, that's what I need to take care of. There's a system that is
like
keeping me poor.
even if you don't look at it through like a Marxist like point of view, you can still argue that you can still at least look at it through a more like
You can see that there is
you
a
can say that
system.
like
Yeah.
like at least you can look at it through like numbers, right? Like you can
Yes.
say that during this time during this time the economic performance has been good, it has
Yeah.
been bad, it has
Yeah.
been and how much of it has been good or bad because of specific policies that they have brought about,
Yeah.
or like at least you can look at that. If
And
you
yeah.
are not looking at that,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, but that's the thing. That's nobody at this point cares about that at all. So what nobody cares about, what, like, at least the voters don't care about what Modi's economic policies are, because the rich people definitely benefited. Like the Ambani is definitely
It's
boomed.
like
Right.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Yeah.
Rich is a relatively vague term. You are talk It has literally, I think, you know the whole discussion that has been going on in regarding whether American billionaires are oligarchs or whether it is just some kind of bigoted anti-Russian thing to call
Hmm.
Russian billionaires oligarchs.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I pers
yeah.
like
Hmm. Good.
I guess I just wanted like this thing because it's like uh like the reason people call Russian billionaires oligarchs is not just because they are rich. It's because they became rich in like a very direct state sponsored way. I don't mean like
Hmm.
subsidies in the way like
Hmm.
US a lot of US billionaires got. I mean
Yeah.
like in terms of like literally parts of the government went for
Hmm.
sale and
Hmm.
these guys got it for like cheap,
Yeah.
and then they basically became millionaires because they essentially own parts of the state, you know.
Precisely. Precisely. And
And I
even,
think
yeah.
genuinely, I could call maybe not even Ambani, but I would definitely say Adani is like an Indian oligarch in that way.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
because like with Ambani, obviously he has had like there has been a level of shall we say quid pro quo
Hmm.
with the government. But
Definitely.
I would say Adani kind of went from fairly rich to like what fourth richest guy in Asia,
Yeah. Something like that.
or third. I think third richest guy in Asia right now. Like I
Pretty
think very
rich.
recently. Like
Yeah.
like and And so much of it is because of things that he got from the government, like directly.
Yeah,
Like you must have, I don't know if you've followed the case of Bombay Airport, right?
you have told me about it. Yeah,
Like you remember, like basically you remember what happened, right?
yeah. No, but if you want to make a point on it, you can
Like
elaborate.
with
Yeah.
Bombay Airport is basically owned by this I think, I don't know if it is a company or this guy called GVK. Like I think it's a
Okay.
company called
Okay.
GVK,
Okay.
and basically the uh, mm, I think they got like a lot of like legal and Gautam Adani decided that he wanted to buy Bombay Airport. So GVK started getting a lot of, shall we say, legal harassment,
Okay. Okay.
and like they had to go to like court and stuff, and that kind of really gave caused them financial issues.
Hmm.
So in the end, they sold Bombay Airport to Adani for like comparatively cut price.
Oh,
And this is Bombay Airport, second most second busiest airport in the country.
right. Right. Yeah.
So it's like there is clear state intervention to make this guy rich, you know?
Yeah, and like that was the question that the this paper was trying to answer, is that why are poor people voting for this guy? I don't like, and I guess an indication, like that paper was mostly descriptive. It was less prescriptive, or like less.
Like I didn't give reasons, I get it, but like
Yeah,
it
it
just
gave
kind of
justifications. It didn't give like strong, like it did not tell what the motivation was. It mostly identified patterns
okay.
and like people's feedback that okay, people felt that they were benefited by government programs. People like there was, I don't want to get into that specifically, but that
Mm.
thing is there. And so these are the two pro Modi groups of people. One group is like somebody who was like, Modi is the better of two evils or like multiple evils,
Mhm.
and hence let's try to apologize for or rationalize everything else that he is
Mhm.
associated with it. And the second group is all about the things that he is associated with. They are all about him being the icon of Hindutva in India, and like the hope that he will bring back our restore our glory, make India great again.
Akhand Bharat, etc., etc.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that, why they gave him, why it's okay for him to get titles like क्या था
Hindu
वो
Hridayat.
प्रधान जन सेवक and all that.
No,
Yeah.
Pradhan Sevak was when he was still pretending that he was like an actual
Yeah, what is
competent
it
prime
now? What's
minister.
the most recent title?
Pradhan Nayak,
Pradhan Nayak. Yeah, yeah. So
first
that's the,
hero.
yeah. So that's the second group, and now there is this third fringe group, which is like I guess the trads that you talked about, right? Who have
Mm.
been disillusioned, who had much higher extremist hopes in 2014, and they have now detached because they did like Modi was not as crazy as they hoped he would be, you know. And now it's they have this brewing underclass of or underground grassroots
I think
movement.
Adityanath is probably more there, like speed.
I don't know, I didn't ask that guy about Adityanath, but I'm pretty sure just because Adityanath is in BJP, because you know
I think
how
part of it, I think part of it, but like it, but I think he has definitely built a brand for himself that is outside Modi, you know, because like when you talk about the right fringe of the BJP, so-called fringe, you're talking about people like Pragya Thakur, you're talking about Adityanath, you're talking about um that what's his face, Sakshi Maharaj or whatever.
Mhm.
You're talking about like random, like there are a lot of people who are like part of the BJP, but like have kind of a reputation for themselves as being sort of more makes
More
Modi look
extreme.
like,
Yeah.
no, make Modi look like this thing,
Moderate.
make Modi look moderate, right?
Yeah. No, but
Like
that's the
there is
thing.
no
That's
shortage of people like that in the BJP, and I think part of it is definitely going to be that. bec- Modi might personally. I don't think Modi has as much. I don't think people are going to actively ever walk away from like Modi if he is the option. Like these tribes people, I don't think are going to walk away from Modi if he is the option, because like who are they going to vote for? You know?
And that's like, even what like one thing that I wanted to point out here, because the guy that I talked to, he was also hinting that he's part of some groups. Like he's not doing shady stuff, but what he's doing is he's giving money to people who are willing to do shady stuff, and collect
Ah,
arms and all that. So because one core part of his ideology was that there is a day of reckoning coming. you know One day Muslims are going to rise up and literally murder them. That's like he openly says that I am against whichever group wants to murder me, and right now that's Muslims. Okay. And in their perspective, when your goal is zero Muslims, then anybody who's not achieving zero Muslims is not good. That's sort of their thinking process, because he told that he's not involved in directly political actions, he's not donating to political
he wants like
candidates.
on the street
Yes, he's giving money to people who are willing to take action when the time comes, quote unquote. Uh,
as a psycho.
yes, precisely in every sense of the word. So, and that is the group, like that is sort of fermenting under the surface. And with this stuff, like what happened with Jahangirpuri, right? I feel like that fermentation bubbled up to the surface, because there was this.
Jahangirpuri was state action.
No, but in response to it, the public response to it is what I'm talking about. Whatever happened is, of course, state action, but how people talked about it, that was revealing. Okay, because
I mean,
so
they've been talking
yeah.
about. I mean, if I mean, people have been talking about this like since since shit since
No, but when you say this, what do you mean exactly?
CA. Like the idea,
No, no, no.
like
CA and RC is a completely different thing. What happened in Jahangirpuri has nothing to do with CA and RC. It has everything to do with illegal construction.
yeah, but like no, but like these things, like people care about it. People don't care about it because it's illegal construction. There are hundreds of things that are illegal
Yeah.
construction.
Hmm.
But like the people, the reason people care about it is because it is like Muslim houses.
That's what I'm talking about. So there was this extremely wild tweet that got like viral, mostly because of quote tweets rather than likes.
Yeah.
And I like to think it was ratioed, but
Iska.
some woman
Oh
again.
wait. Oh, is the one by Navika?
I think. Tell me, what
Is
do
it
you remember?
wait. I because if it is the one by Navika, then I remember quote tweeting it.
You
Uh,
must have. I would expect you to tweet it.
one second. Navika
Okay,
Kumar.
so let me tell you what it said. It was like,
Dramatic increase in demand for bulldozers.
yes,
Are we increasing domestic capacity for manufacturing? Will we have to depend on imports? Hashtag just asking. Uh, tongue emoji, laugh emoji.
yes. And this
Yeah.
thing, this tweet, I feel
This
like this is so, like, okay, there's no, and isn't she some editor in chief of something, like, isn't her
Times now.
Times Now, exactly. So
She's
see, it's
a she's an anchor on Times now. I
and
will
this
not
is,
pretend.
yeah.
I am not going to call her a journalist.
Yes, and the thing is, it's what we call a mask off moment, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's openly
And I mean,
nothing.
it's not just her, right? Like it's like you're talking because there are so many people who are like actually psycho. You're talking people like
I
you're talking
think,
people like Aman Chopra. You're talking about like most people who are on Republic.
but the thing
Who
is, if they actively show how psycho they are, like if they even say the things that guy said to me privately, he
Mhm.
can't post that on Twitter. It's openly hate speech.
Yeah,
Okay,
but like
it's openly
but
TOS.
Navika
They will get
did
booted
post.
off.
Uh, but Navika was essentially laughing about how. bulldozers are running on like
Yeah, but
houses.
that's so it's implied. So it's that cat and mouse ka game, right? It's that, oh, it's a joke, haha. Right? It's since forever it has been the indirect sort of taking the cover of satire. Okay, the Schrodinger's asshole paradox, where
Hmm.
it's like, okay, my joke is fully a joke and I don't believe in it if you start giving me shit for it. But if somebody starts agreeing with it, then I'm like, yeah, I actually believe in it. It's
Right,
that sort of thing,
right.
right? Based on who is asking, the answer changes. So,
Hmm.
if Twitter asks, then she'll say, no, no, this is a joke. This is just a casual joke. It's fine. But if the people who are the people who are liking it and people who are responding to it, right, replying to it, those are not taking it ironically. Those are not taking it satirically, right? Those are taking it like, yeah, she is right. This is such a day to celebrate.
Can I, can
Yeah.
I, I am sorry to inform you that she was not in fact ratioed.
God damn it. But that's the thing. That's
12.8 thousand likes,
yeah.
4,000 quote
Quote
tweets.
tweets. So you see what's happening. People like this shit. People are. So that's what I'm saying. This fermentation that I'm talking about. It's no longer. It's bubbling to the surface. It's
It's been
coming
happening for a
out.
while, yeah.
Yeah, it's mask off. Now it's openly laughing at the suffering of Muslim people. Now it's openly calling for genocide. Now it's openly, like, it's not even that, sort of veneer of secularism, that, oh no, this is a secular decision. The decision to, for example, ban hijab in schools in Karnataka
Oh, that, yeah,
is
that,
following the secular principle that everybody should be equal in schools, right? That's
yeah.
still
And then the
veiled.
whole Ram Navami thing.
Yeah, that's still, the hijab thing is still a veil. They are still covering themselves with the veil of real secularism, right? The quote
Mm.
unquote real secularism.
Mhm.
But
I
now
think a
with
lot of people, I think a lot of like TV anchors have like are openly talking about, have openly said that they don't give a shit about quote unquote real secularism.
Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing. That's really,
Like
they
they're not,
don't really care. I obviously know
no, but
that.
no, but no, they openly say that they don't care. It's not even like we are talking about this thing.
Implied or not.
It's not
Yeah, yeah.
implied.
But that's the thing. I
When you talk
believe.
about someone like Aman Chopra,
Yeah.
this is a guy who openly says that Muslims have invaded this country.
But here's the thing, right, Arcane? With channels like Republic, I guess this is a Republic TV guy, right?
No,
No.
Aman Chopra is it Z?
Yeah, even these channels, like, I feel like, okay, I can't judge other channels, but at least for Republic TV, since its inception, it had been meme factory, right? It has been mostly more of like people have been able to laugh it off. Okay.
I think that it's been mean factor just because Arnab shouts a lot. What
But
if you listen to
yeah,
what he says? He's been like a piece of shit from the start, you know?
here's the thing, right? For any sort of political advocacy, so always keep in mind a normie. Okay, always keep in mind a self-proclaimed apolitical person. How do
Right.
they see things? Because
Hmm.
that, so if you draw like a bell curve of population across political beliefs, the
Hmm.
the the peak in the middle is covered by self-proclaimed apolitical people who
Yeah.
don't have strict allegiances to
Who don't
political
care about
parties.
quote unquote don't care about politics.
Yeah, so they only implicitly support the status quo.
Hmm.
But in those people's eyes, it had always been, uh, what an idiot, right? What a dumb idiot. And things like that, even recently, he like, some anchor from their channel goofed up on who was who that they were interviewing, right? He was
Hmm.
shouting for some guy to shut up, but turns out that guy was
Oh
not even
yeah,
speaking.
that is times now. That is Rahul Shivshankar.
Oh my god, it's
That
spreading.
he was not, that was embarrassing, but like that was at least embarrassing in a sort of different context, right? Because
Yeah.
like at that point, At that point, people kind of started jumping on the sort of Ukraine bandwagon,
Yeah.
and I think his name was McAdams.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mr. McAdams. Yeah.
and but I think, and like part, and at least one TV channel is still actively like milking Ukraine for content,
Oh
which
my
feels
God.
which feels like which is a phrase that I felt dirty while saying.
Yeah. No, no, no. I get it. I get it. But yeah. So what I'm saying, right? So now this sort of veil of oh no, we are just following the constitution, is going to slip away more and
I think
more.
it has. I think it has at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like, so what I am more concerned about are, and what I feel like is a more genuine reflection of the temperament of common people right now, at least, is the internet.
Mhm.
And because, like,
Maybe.
you,
I think
yeah,
we look at the wrong things when it comes to the internet, when it comes to like India. The internet is like some worth looking at, but I do think we sometimes tend to look at the wrong things when it comes to the internet. Uh, People don't use Twitter that much. Indian internet presence seems to be much more on places like this thing. What do you
Facebook,
call it? N-
WhatsApp,
Not even
WhatsApp,
Facebook, WhatsApp.
yeah, WhatsApp, mostly.
Like
But even
and
then, yeah.
like and the thing is that is inherently hard to track because
So
like you
of
don't
course,
know.
and there's not like an empirical way to say this, but like for even WhatsApp, what you're talking about, right? Obviously now WhatsApp has that stories feature since long ago, actually.
Right, right.
But and then that is a platform for people to
Mhm.
propagate what they believe in. So to not just forward to DMs, but make it available at a common place.
Yeah, like a story, like a standard thing. Yeah,
And I
I
see
know
those
that.
stories as well, and I see these same sentiments again, like completely shifting from like this excuse of fairness in front of law to open bigotry, is what I'm saying, right? Because there is something much more dangerous about irrational bigotry, and rational bigotry is something that is all has always been a front. Obviously it has always been a front. There's no way to rationalize bigotry really, but it is something that can be sort
You
of
can you can
countered.
kind of shame you can kind of shame people by saying that what is this bullshit? You don't actually believe this shit, you
Yeah,
know?
you can debunk them, you can
Yeah.
cancel them, you can do all that. You can't
Like it's
cancel
the point
your.
of it is like it's the part of the shame, right? Like you can't shame somebody who's shameless.
Exactly. You can't cancel somebody who is sharing forwards about
Like you can't
like,
really say that, oh my god, you anti-Muslim bigot, when he's like, yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah. That's precisely what I am. Nice to meet you. And it's like, once that starts happening, it's like, I think, in my opinion, a more dangerous situation. And as you said, whatever happened in Jahangirpuri, like, illegal construction is the bedrock on which Delhi is built. Okay, really,
Yeah.
illegal construction is not a
I
thing
mean,
which.
I don't know about how much it specifically applies to Delhi, but I am like reasonably sure it is very much common, you know?
Yeah, I have lived most of my life in Delhi. I've done most of my schooling and my entire college in Delhi, and in uh, uh, we have lived in Palam area, right? And that
Hmm.
is again a very densely populated part, and it's like that all there's an entire market full of street vendors, and which sell like fast food, which sell toys and juice and like stuff, right? Like,
Hmm.
consumables, right?
Right,
And
like yeah, standard shops, right?
yeah, but that's the thing. For a Delhiite, even for any resident of a metropolitan city, these are these are standard shops, right? Really, these shops can be classified as illegal because they are like,
Yeah,
what.
nobody's going to like without this thing. Nobody's going to like without in contravention of a fucking court order, going to like directly demolish these places.
Yes, because it's like the 50% of the economy of that area, right? That's like
Like आधा
how
दिल्ली को
people
आग लगाएगा क्या?
how many people are able to eat, right? Because street vendors are not fast food, just they're also vegetables, right?
हाँ,
Those people that are sitting on the footpath, they just put a tarp in front of them and put the vegetables in front of them. Do you think they have license to sit
yeah, of
there?
course not.
They
Bullshit.
don't. That's illegal in the technical sense of the word, but that's what's running the area. That's what's supporting the life of that place. Nobody
And it's
cares.
not just
Okay.
that. It was not just that it is illegal or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was that like they demolished it without like any kind of like notice and in direct contravention to a Supreme Court order. Like,
Yeah, they just woke up one day. They're like, oh no, there's too much illegal construction in Delhi, and we're going to start with Jahangirpuri. Okay, it's almost like they just woke up and decided. Okay, and it's like I don't. Again, as you know, I am not much into conspiratorial thinking. I don't care what their motivation was. Like, obviously, there is a correlation causation paradigm here. That was at like because it was some like writing and all was taking place there as well, right? And
yeah,
they decided to demolish a gate leading to a masjid, right, to a mosque,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like who nobody will say it or people will say it. I don't know. I don't care. But it's obviously the outcome, the function of this happening is people living there, which is a majoritarian Muslim area, to feel unsafe,
Yeah.
right? And then people coming out and being happy about it,
And this is
being
news media. This is not even like this is not even like randos, right?
yeah, these are not self-proclaimed pundits. These are people who have not not internet platforms. They have TV platforms. They have they have a spot on the screen
Prime
that is
time.
there in everybody's home. Yeah,
Prime time. Not even
yeah,
we're not even talking about like this thing, right?
yeah. It's not fringe groups. It's mainstream media. And so in my opinion, like that is something that needs to be like sort of more aggressively countered, and also the appeals to secularism here, right? Because I see this a lot, and I saw this especially with a really cringe post that Congress Party of Karnataka's Twitter page posted. Okay, uh, hold on, let me find it. But it's like hollow posturing, but much more annoying, which like to me at least. Okay, hold on, let me Karnataka
Great.
National Congress. Nah.
Was it Sidramaya?
No, no, it was the official page of the Karnataka Congress. Was it Karnataka Congress? Hold on. Is it Karnataka Congress that posted that cringe?
Because I remember some at least some other Congress person like getting a lot of shit for saying that तुम लोग ने कांग्रेस को वोट नहीं किया अभी भुगतो basically. Like I think it was even in response to Jahangirpuri, which was like, bro.
Hold on, let me find it. It was so weird. I'm not able to find it right now. But okay, so basically, what it was
Mhm.
that stand against hatred. Not even stand against. Stand united. The strength of India is in
Yeah,
its
yeah, that's
unity.
the. I mean,
Right.
like that I understand. Like that is the
Call
kind
this
of thing.
number to stand
It's a bit
against.
it's a bit liberal, but like
No, but the thing
समझता है.
is, like, it's like call this number to show support for unity and all that. Okay, and
That's electoral bias. That is just kind of that is just kind of trying to get like some kind of like Congress supporters kind of thing.
and yeah, and it's
It's
like,
mostly pointless and it's kind of stupid, but like I don't know if it's that bad, you know?
but the thing is, like, for like it's those people only that I worried about. No, the middle of the bell curve, which are like this thing that, oh, I don't have any political ideology, but whatever is happening over there is bad, and we need to stop it. And the thing is,
I mean, a
Like,
lot of people will say that whatever is happening in Jahangirpuri is probably bad. It's
no,
just
but
it.
that's the entirety of their thing. And I understand this, but you have to understand that, okay, the kind of, so if it you see that their particular
Like if you tell a lot of people that the time for what do you call it? The time for conversation is past, or the time for like peaceful reconciliation is past, then like you are essentially starting a battle you know you cannot win.
Yes, and what happens is, like, you are like, oh no, this is a humanitarian crisis, and it's like, oh no, humanity is getting lost and all that.
What the
Okay,
hell?
the thing is, no, not like humanitarian crisis is something I'm making up. It's not really like I read anybody actually saying on Twitter or anywhere, but like, people appeals to humanity is what I'm talking about. Okay,
Mhm.
so, okay, obviously, whatever is happening in, like, at the level of what the level of Islamophobia in India is bad, obviously 110%,
Oh, it's
right? How do you counter it? Because countering it has to go beyond
wait, what
saying
the fuck
it bad.
sorry,
What happened?
sorry, not you.
Okay.
My bad. Can you
Uh,
hear anything in the background?
Not in the background, but I said you saying what the fuck.
Sorry,
No, no, it's
my
fine.
bad.
If you need to sort something out, is it fine or to
No,
continue?
just no, it's no, go ahead. I think I'm okay.
Okay. So, no, but that's what I was saying is that uh, if people believed in humanity, the kind of people who are like celebrating this and pushing for it, and even being part of influencing it happening, right? It's humanity, arguments for humanity does not work from for them already,
Yeah, because
right?
like nobody gives a shit about humanity if you are like, yeah,
And this is the thing, that now what happened 10 years ago with the West is now happening here, is that there is one group of these, intellectual dark web style people who are there to make arguments, who are able to debate their ideas, who are able to prove, there's this guy I've seen on YouTube which is same pushing the same that multiple Marxism thing, but also giving prescriptions of, okay, according to Hindu ideology, look how well everything can be handled and all that, right?
so this is basically sort of Hindu Rashtra types.
Hindu Rashtra, but scientific is,
Oh
yeah,
no, that has always been there. Like
because I
there are so
think,
many people who justify caste system using like genetics.
yeah, and I think Hindutva jumped on the naturalistic explanation train long ago, because ever since I was a child, I remember seeing
Kangna
these.
Ranaut,
No, no,
wait, shit, I
no, no.
have to find this.
Kangna Ranaut is even later. Even I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about
Kangna
Ram.
Ranaut shared a meme saying that in an interview with this one, what's his face, Hamid Ansari,
Okay.
saying that he has the what lineage of treachery, something.
Who? Hamid Ansari.
Hamid Ansari, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Weird. Oh, she is implying that he said that, or is it?
She's not implying. She shared a meme which said it like Mupe.
Right, right. Yeah, but that's the, like, I think, like, even
Like
so,
Kangna is
yeah,
definitely one of those, shall we call, like she's definitely like a trad leaning person. It also doesn't help that she is a very, shall we say, prominent figure.
very vocal.
Not just vocal, but like prominent figure, right? People care
Ah.
what Kangna Ranaut thinks.
Just such a tragedy. But, like, yeah, so what I'm talking about is, I think, what I remember from my childhood is the Ram Setu. I would call them conspiracies. Okay.
Ram
Uh,
Setu.
yes.
Wait,
So,
like India Sri Lanka Ram Setu.
yes. So
What?
I remember there was this
Okay.
thing that happened, an idea that was being floated, and I was very young at this time, so I might not remember the details, but I don't care to look it up. But it was that, okay, there is a reef, there is a visible, like, there is a physical reef that goes from, like, somewhere the tip of the southern India and Sri Lanka, right? It's not really a land bridge; it's a reef. It's a coral reef,
Mm-hmm.
and but
But
it
they are
is.
saying that actually this was the Ramayana is like real history.
Yeah, at that time, the reason why this came up is there was this proposal by, I think, Sri Lankan government, is that
Mhm.
if we break this reef, ships will be able to pass through it. So any ships coming from the East Asia, so coming from Japan, coming from Korea, all those ships,
Will
when
not
they're
have to circle this thing,
Sri
Sri
Lanka.
Lanka.
Yes. So they will be able to come here, and that also would solve the problem of real life piracy that was happening, because that is like a
Mhm.
more open seas, more desolate area. But if it
Right,
is here, it is more of like a inter country boundary that is, so that's easier to monitor, easier to secure, right?
right.
So the ships will be able to pass with relative safety, and they will also cut on the travel distance. But
Hmm.
Indian government, oh my God, Indian people, oh my God, they're like, nah, yeah, this is a matter of national pride. This reef cannot be touched. Not for any natural reasons, not for any ecological reasons, not for any historical reasons,
Oh no, I
but
found the thing.
yeah,
Oh,
okay.
sorry, go ahead. Just finish your point.
So that's the thing. Like, I think in that Hindutva advocates have jumped on this thing that whatever you think is cool right now, or whatever is currently trending, or whatever line of thinking is currently acceptable, all of it fits within Hindutva. Okay, all of it is, everything that is cool has
I mean,
always been a part of Hinduism.
this part is just standard religious extremism, right? Like, like this religious thing is actually because of this is actually because of religion and stuff like that, and we
But
will not allow you to break it because it is like hamari astha and all of that stuff. This is like it's bad, but it's not unusual.
but the thing is with Hinduism, I
I
feel
think
like,
have you seen what I sent?
yeah, I saw that meme. Got it. Yeah, those with genes of illegitimacy and treason will never be loyal to India and its civilization. And did she post the entire video, or did she just post the
No,
screenshot?
she posted the video. This is a
Okay.
screenshot of that.
Oh, it's just an interview and she is saying this about him. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. No, but yeah, it's I understand this, and like this is this whatever. But even right now there are people like Sadhguru who say that, Hinduism is not actually a
I mean,
religion.
it's a way of life.
Y- na-
That's a very old
No,
talking
no, no.
point.
It's not even a way of life. Like, is the thing is, it's not even about advocating it as a way of life. It's more of like a identity. Okay, and that's what I am currently
Eh?
working on a series of videos regarding this only, because a lot of people don't realize that in 21st century the religion has become less a matter of which gods you believe in, or which rituals you perform, or which traditions you follow. It has become a matter of identity.
I mean, this has
Yeah.
always been true.
Yeah, it has always been true, but a lot of anti-religious advocacy has always targeted, and especially that era of the four horsemen of atheism,
Oh God.
Dawkins, Sam
Yeah, a lot
Harris.
they I mean Hitchens died obviously, and
Yeah,
Harris is now like pushing
super
weird
cringe. Yeah, he has a solo
right-wing talking
podcast which is so
points,
weird.
and Richard Dawkins now calls himself a cultural Christian. But it's
Yeah,
not about like a yeah, it's not like a religious thing, babe. It's a
yeah, and
cultural.
Dawkins is like openly turf. Yeah,
He's a turf also?
yeah. He published like an open letter slash
Or was he part of that whole J.K. Rowling thing?
no, no, it was on the same line but much more amplified because it's Richard Dawkins. Yeah, it was like a, so what is the thing that you publish and ask people, petition? Yeah, it was a
Mhm.
public petition that to for people to show support about that, women's spaces should be kept safe
Yeah,
from.
like your standard turf talking points, right?
Yeah, he's openly tough now. so
Mhm.
all of
Yeah,
the,
British. It's like a birthright defect.
But yeah, and it's like the thing that these guys are pushing on, the things that these guys were attacking back then was what? It was like, oh, God does not exist, and if you think God exists, you're stupid. Or
Yeah, and a lot of
these
these guys
traditions,
went straight into Islamophobia, you know?
yeah, on these traditions are harmful, these moral systems are harmful, and if they are harmful because they are coming from God, okay, because they're coming from what you think is God, right? And it's like, okay, this whole thing, this whole idea of attacking, of attacking people's intellectual capabilities, right? This has been, like, I feel it has lost steam at this point because everybody, because Gamergate happened basically, okay. Gamergate happened because it was not these people who did Gamergate, but it was people who were inspired by these people, who listened to these people, right?
I
Who
don't think so.
repeated what these people were saying,
I don't
which
think so.
don't you think there is like a direct causal relationship
I think
here?
not directly. Most gamergaters were not atheists. A lot of visible gamergaters were atheists, but most gamergaters were more or less just standard right-wing Americans.
But a lot of those people who were
I
atheist
think
and
people over. I think a lot of those. I think people uh,
atheist
jump
hate
on the
train,
atheist hate train a bit more, mainly because of how visible their
no,
quote unquote heroes
they
fucked
were
up.
visible because they had audiences, because 2000, early 2010s YouTube was dominated by either, you know, like
I
bedroom
don't.
sketch comedy.
Harris was the thing is most of these guys weren't like YouTube personalities.
No, but
Like if you're
they,
talking about in terms of that, you're talking most of these people, most of the people who were on like Gamergate YouTube were like pushing like quote unquote anti SJW talking points, but like their personal politics was never really in terms of like pro anything as much as anti Muslim.
no, but
And
that's the history
as
that you're,
much
like, I feel like you're not aware of that history. So what I'm
I
not,
was a
so
guy who followed
obviously,
Sargon of Akkad. I remember like a lot
yeah.
of what Gamergate types used to like have. Like, but
Yeah, but then there were people also like TJ Kirk, who at that time was called the Amazing Atheist, right?
oh yeah, TJ,
And
TJ, I know. Like,
like
I
he has
know.
had a turnaround now,
No,
but
no, no. But I know. Like, he used to like ally with a lot of like right wing types and like I know the Amazing Atheist became like a lot of like. Uh, I think I know the Amazing Atheist pushed a lot of like reactionary talking points and he like he kind of allied with a lot of people that were on the like that were anti SJW types who were also like very much like right wing types. But and I do agree to an extent, but
yeah.
I don't think the movement was focused around atheism as much as there were a lot of there were reactionary atheists who also were part of it.
Yeah, I agree with that because there is nothing about atheism ideologically which leads logically to anti-SJW rhetoric. There is nothing about atheism that is really, or and really there is nothing about what even people like Dawkins and Stephen Fry and Hitchens were saying back in the day. Because I can't say about Sam Harris. Sam Harris is like that God Delusion book, right? It was Sam Harris, right, who
Yeah,
wrote God
Dawkins.
Delusion. Oh, that's Dawkins, right? But
I know. I think nah, I left my copy. Shit. I had a copy actually
yeah,
of God.
but I tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it had one entire chapter dedicated to the idea that okay, religion bad, but Islam especially bad. Like like it had some sort of like a chapter dedicated to the idea that okay, if we want to counter religious extremism, we need to start with Islam. We
No.
need to start.
I
Oh,
I remember. Wait, no, I remember reading. I remember the book. He did not say that religion bad, but Islam especially bad.
hmm,
He kind of like with God Delusion. I remember because like where he's because in the book there was like a chapter
hmm.
where he kind of tried to counter the notion that even if people believe in religion, it's fine because it doesn't really affect the real world. I think
Uh, no, but
you could
I
argue
think
that
then
he had bias.
I
He
might
could
be,
argue that he had
yeah.
bias
Hmm.
because almost all of his examples
Hmm.
were like Islamic countries.
Yeah, in like 2000 से लेके 2010, you
But
know,
I
Middle
don't know
Eastern
how much I
countries were
blame
the
him, man.
softest targets. No, that's what I'm
It's only
saying.
a question of softest targets. I don't know how much I blame him, man.
No, I
Like,
guess, I mean, look, I don't, hold on. Why does my computer say I googled something, okay? I googled
uh-huh.
something and it
Mm-hmm.
says just on the Google page, it did not even open the Google page. I just typed it in the address bar and it
Mm-hmm.
says our systems have detected unusual traffic from your computer network. And now I have to pass a captcha. What the hell? Just to Google search. Have you ever gotten a captcha just to Google search?
Not to Google search, no.
Oh
I
my god.
usually get it for other things.
Uh, No, but okay, listen. Yeah, now I understand now what it is coming from. The reason why I thought that Sam Harris wrote that book is because it's not about that book. That's the most famous atheist book, The God Illusion.
Mm.
But
Mm.
Sam Harris wrote another book in
Mm-hmm.
which that was one chapter that he
Sam,
dedicated. Yeah, Sam Harris.
wait, wait one
Yeah,
second.
it's called, I
Because Dark
think.
Illusion was Richard Dawkins. I know because I had that book. I'll just
Yeah,
check
and the
which book
book I
this is.
think that I am talking about is The End of Faith. Because so the reason why I know this is because
The
I
End of
watched.
Faith, Religion, Terror, and the Future of Reason.
Yes. So I
I'd say
I
Sam Harris is someone who is like closer to a Ben Shapiro, who
yes.
is night, who is less ideologically open, but more like facts and logic type.
Yeah,
Except
that's what.
sometimes he thinks more about, but sometimes he pays slightly more attention to facts and logic. You know?
Yeah, and it's like so I remember watching a video essay by, I
I don't.
think. Go
Okay.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Like even maybe I'll have to read this book. I'm going through like the Wikipedia synopsis,
Yeah,
but like his idea is that Harris follows this with a brief survey of Christianity down the ages, examining the Inquisition and persecution of witches and Jews. He contends that far from being an aberration, the torture of heretics was a logical expression of Christian doctrine,
yeah,
one which he says was clearly justified by men such as Saint Augustine. Going still further, Harris says the Holocaust is essentially drawing its inspiration from historical Christian anti-Semitism. Knowingly or not, he says the Nazis were agents of religion. But okay. Among the controversial aspects of The End of Faith is an
yes,
uncompromising assessment and criticism of Islamism, which Harris describes as being quote unquote a cult of death.
yes.
He
That's the
infers a clear
thing.
link.
Yes.
Yeah, I,
And
yeah,
and and this is
I
the
get why.
this book was released in 2004,
Oh, yeah,
and a country in which 9/11 has happened 3 years ago,
which was
uh,
which was at that time currently in Iraq.
in Iraq. Exactly, they're fighting a just war against Muslim terrorists, right? Like,
Mhm.
just war is an oxymoron, but you know. So uh, such a climate, somebody comes and says, "Listen, I am an atheist, and I also think Islam is bad. Like, and I also think, you know." So what happens? Islamophobia amplifies, and it compounds, right? And now it's capturing the imagination of people in the middle. Now the people who don't have extreme religious beliefs either way. So they are not extremely Christian, they're not extremely Jewish, they're not extremely evangelical, right? Or Catholic, whatever the different sects are there. They're like, okay, normal people, sometimes they go to church. But then they read this book and now they are also on the Muslim hate train, right?
I
So
mean, I guess
so like
I
Sam Harris
totally
is
get.
the weak link in this situation, because I
Sam Harris
think
is definitely like the most like right wing type.
more
Like
overtly right wing. Yeah,
yeah, because I remember like I like maybe I don't know. I think I'd heard it on Vaush because he had talked about like he went into like the whole like black crime discourse.
yeah. That
I don't think he openly said like 1350, but you know, like he was kind of discussing black crime statistics.
yeah, on his solo podcast,
And that was when the whole Floyd thing happened.
George Floyd protests were happening. Yeah. And what I'm trying to say is not Sam Harris was dead in Gamergate, but of course I know the thing that
I think he was
started.
I think he was an influencer, but I
Hmm.
think he was like one influencer,
the
and a bigger part of the core of the movement was much more like standard right wing, but like more memey, you know?
yeah. So the causal relationship, like the line of logic that I think, but like that I can see, is
Mhm.
not so. Gamergate I know started with 4chan boards, right? And it's 4chan. Some people on 4chan getting especially agitated, and like
And
Gamergate,
Gamergate
Gamergate
happened
is
because of that
so
whole.
the funny thing is that Gamergate and the Gamergate era are two different things. So Gamergate was a particular
Yeah,
pointed,
Gamergate was the one thing, and the
yeah,
Gamergate era kind of
yeah.
extended into general quote unquote anti SJW
Yeah,
sentiment.
like extreme hostility towards progressive ideas. So
Yeah,
against feminism, against trans acceptance, against
I wouldn't even go as far
social
as saying trans
justice.
acceptance. In 2014, trans acceptance was not really like a big
No,
thing.
but people had started shitting on trans people. Blair White started in that era. So she did not start with the skeptic community. She was never a skeptic. But when
She
she
was a fashion
started her YouTube,
YouTuber.
huh?
She was like a fashion YouTube type, right? Or makeup
Yeah.
YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, but she found much more traction when she started talking about problems in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trans
So
community.
basically, everybody kind of got into that sort of anti-SJW train,
Yes, yeah.
like your Sargons, like your TJs, like your shoe on heads, like your
Hmm. Hunter
like.
Avalon as well. Hunter Avalon is also there.
Hmm.
Like you wouldn't think now, but Hunter Avalon is an
No, no, no,
OG.
no. I remember. I
Yeah.
remember when Hunter Avalon kind of was originally a sort of this thing. Like there was this whole ecosystem of right-wing YouTube, right?
Yes. And
Uh, People are
so,
going
as
too
you
far.
said, right, the most visible people, those most visible people were the most visible because they were also one of the biggest. And the reason why they were the biggest is because early YouTube, that early 2008 onwards YouTube, was dominated with atheist content. It was not really a religious debate content because there wasn't really a strong Christian evangelist presence on YouTube, right? Because the kind of things that people were responding to, these atheists were responding to, were broad ideologies. They were like people who are famous, let's say on TV, or people who are holding up signs saying you know God is not dead or whatever, like some bullshit. I don't know. I don't even care. But it was like they were not this. It was not like right now that react videos, that somebody makes a point, somebody reacts to it, then the original person reacts to the other person's reaction to it. The react cycle of content, that was not there earlier. What they were doing was taking in abstraction that what religious people believe and debunking it, right? So it became like I
No,
don't want
not
to.
an abstraction. A lot of these people, a lot of these things were like shit these people actually believed. You know?
Yeah, no, when I say in abstraction, I mean they were not against a concrete enemy right now. Like they were not confronting, they were more of debunking. It
Yeah, I
was
know.
more passive. It was like,
And yes, but like that is YouTube even today. People, there is slightly more like confrontation now because
yeah,
people debunk other YouTube people, or at least people willing to come on a YouTube channel.
yeah,
But at the time, I think it was because the medium was new. Not a lot of
yeah,
people
yeah,
would come onto a YouTube channel. So
yeah,
you would have people talking about some a quote unquote actual personality, right?
yeah,
Because you somebody who's on TV, somebody who's like a public figure even.
yeah.
But
But that's so I agree that the limitation of the popularity of YouTube also allowed this sort of echo chamber to develop. But what I'm trying to say is that the echo chamber that developed was not about atheism. The echo chamber what that developed was about dunking. Okay, it was about dunking on stupid people. And
sure.
once you realize this, so I will even refer to whoever is listening, and even to you, watch this
Mhm,
really really good video essay by Big Joel, which is
mhm,
the end of YouTube skepticism,
mhm,
and which he starts by talking about Blair White. So in the beginning you will not think that he will go in that direction. He
mhm,
starts by talking about Blair White, but he takes it in the direction of where Blair White came from. And the she was a product of the anti-SJW era, and where that sort of trend came from. And he makes the assertion that since the atheist YouTube content was less about spreading atheism or like promoting atheism and more about dunking on people, uh, it was easy to switch to dunking on feminists and
I-
social justice warriors.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
it
I
does
guess.
not. So as I said, there is no ideological link between atheism and dunking on feminists.
But it's just like an aesthetic thing.
Yes, it's an aesthetic of dunking, which they carried forward that okay, now people are tired of dunking on evangelists, let's dunk on feminists, right?
Yeah, easier targets.
Yeah, with the trendy targets, because even that was a time at which the second wave feminism thing was also trying to gain traction. That was because people like Anita Sarkeesian had also like not. I don't think it. I think it was like 2014, at least 2014, when she started publishing videos about her video game criticisms, right? And
Hmm.
that became such a focal point of hate, that
Hmm.
who is this person, you know
Yeah, yeah.
that
Then
came
that's
out
how
of
this whole
nowhere and
thing
she thinks
started,
she can.
right?
Yeah, she came out of nowhere and she thinks she can lecture us about what
Gamer
video
YouTube.
games. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, then when there is a audience that is already primed for wanting dunks, then because of course, like with Anita Sarkeesian's criticisms, they were not watertight. Okay, there were some holes in their arguments. And
Hmm.
the most common one that is used is the idea that video games influence behavior, rather than video games being a product of the culture around them. And so if somebody sees.
I think people just felt attacked, really.
Yeah, no, but the problem
Like
is
it's
not.
like it's not even a case of like whether video games like people saw it as video. If you like people saw the argument as if you play video games you are sexist, and people just kind of felt attacked.
That was the conclusion that people drew, because ultimately people like Anita Sarkeesian were not saying that you are sexist for playing these video games. They were just saying that these games are sexist. They are in tone, in theme, sexist. Not that. And then of course the reason then that, like, it was like, okay, how she would justify it, why she's talking about this, is because her assertion was that this is translating to real world problems. So if there is a game which is extremely misogynistic towards. Hey,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so I've
Do you have
turned
to
on.
go?
No, 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 no. My mom was like, turn on your fan. Uh, so is it fine? Is it too noisy on my
Yeah, that's
end?
fine. I can hear you fine. That's not an issue.
Yeah, so I was saying that, like, so Anita Sarkeesian's video, like why, what her motivation was basically, was that she believed that okay, if people are seeing misogyny in video games, if people are seeing heavy sexualization of women in video games, that is something that they come to expect in real life. Or you know things like submissiveness, things like shallowness, things like materialism. Girls all want shiny things, right? And if they see that in video games, that's like something that affects their perspective of women in real life. That was the thesis of her argument, right? And of course an argument that then can be
I
drawn
mean, you
in.
can fight against that argument, but I think a lot of people just kind of try to go like the low-hanging fruit kind of route.
Yeah, because nobody cares about the nuance, and nobody is willing to engage with this argument as a assertion or as a thesis. They
Yeah,
want it,
because because the argument they want to frame it as is Anita called every gamer sexist.
yeah, and the reason why they're not affording her that charitability is because she is a woman, very very loud and clear. It is difficult to imagine now, and it would feel too simplistic, but that is in 2010, like especially the kind of games that she was commenting on, like because she was not focusing on one era of video games. She was like everything from Super Mario to Batman Arkham series. Okay.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like very much something that a lot of men or boys identified with, and
yeah,
this
yeah.
was a
Like
matter
again,
of
it
identity.
was like a personal this thing, right? Like the argument was framed as if you like video games, you are sexist.
Yeah,
A
the
straw
thought
man,
in their
basically.
brain. Yeah, and and then there are like, and then not everyone can create a YouTube video and get enough views. The people who are upset with Anita Sarkeesian can't all make YouTube response videos, right? But
Yeah, but they
what they
can
can do is
kind
they
of.
can create this environment where people like Sargon of Akkad, who has never had good morals to begin with, you know, give him an excuse to start dunking on Anita Sarkeesian, right? To make
Yeah.
dunk videos exclusively on her.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, that is, so now everybody mistrusts atheist is what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Uh,
Everybody, because I have faced this firsthand, going online and saying I'm an atheist, even in progressive spaces. It has
yeah,
been
people
like,
mistrust it because people just jump on you, you know.
yeah, this is the same thing that you're talking about, the associations people have
Yeah.
developed, that,
Mm.
oh, you are.
Those are not like factually based. Those are just kind of based because of very dumb reasons.
And I think that that in modern times, like, so we started talking about religious extremism and whatever, like this sort of thing that is happening right now with Hindutva, and like they're trying to be hip and trendy, right? Always have been tried to do hip and trendy and scientific, right? And all
Yeah,
that.
it's just
If there is any progress to be made against the religious extremism, uh, there needs to be a reduction in the in the importance that people give to religion in their lives, but at the same time it cannot be centered around intellectual capabilities,
yeah. You can't. What do you mean intellectual capabilities?
trying to rationalize God not existing, or trying
I
to
mean,
rationalize, huh?
I I don't think there has been a general tendency to rationalize God not existing.
No, no, no,
If
but
anything,
that's the thing, like
if
it's.
anything, the trend has been
Go
to
ahead.
the opposite.
What do you mean?
There is a much bigger history of apologetics in the terms of religious, like
Naturalistic justifications, right? That, okay.
justifications for religion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, that's the thing what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about from the religious side. What I'm saying is that from an atheist perspective, right? If an atheist movement is to succeed, right, it cannot be about appearing smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Atheism
Oh, yes,
cannot
yeah,
be
yeah,
about, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. Atheism
Like
cannot
you
be,
cannot
yeah.
really push this argument that I am smarter than you.
Yeah, because I'm an atheist.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now religion has sort of developed an immune response. They have co-opted the aesthetic of appearing smart. They have co-opted the aesthetics of dunking. The biggest example is Ben Shapiro, who is a Orthodox Jewish person, right? And he claims to be the facts and logic
Yeah,
guy.
but Ben Shapiro is just stupid, so like I don't know how much that
No, but
applies.
it's the aesthetic now. Religious fundamentalists or orthodox religious people now
I don't know
they, huh,
country that is applicable.
sorry.
I don't know how much that is applicable in this country.
No, no, no. I'm not saying in this country, but in this country, it's a different set of people. In this country, it's a different set of intellectual dark web people that we have talked about in the past, right? The
Right.
kind of people who try to say every historical thing was originating in India.
Yeah,
Jesus was some,
you're that oak guy.
yeah, PNR, what, like
PN
something,
oak.
PNR is railway ticket, but yeah, so those kinds of people that have always, so they have already, they're one step ahead. They have beaten us to that thing, that you know appearing smart, like people, if you are smart, you don't believe in a god. They have already beaten us to it, that it's like, oh no, if you are smart, then you believe in specifically Hindu gods. uh, but now it has to be much more pragmatic. Now it has to be much more like driven by, so in my case it's utilitarianism, like the maximize, like aiming for the maximization of happiness in world, right?
Yeah.
And to convince people to that, I can't just say to this to people. Somebody who axiomatically hates Muslim people cannot be convinced by directly telling him or her that, oh no, you know what you should do, you should believe in maximum happiness of everyone in and right now and in the future also, right? They're like, no, I don't care what are you talking about. In fact, they will try to convince me that it is in line with this philosophy to hate Muslim people, right? That, like that guy was trying to do. And it has to be a different, something else, it has to be something radically different. And I don't know right now what it should be, but I'm sort of formulating that idea, and I'm in coming time I want to sort of elaborate much more on that, like standalone YouTube videos, which I'm working on right now, in video essays, for example.
Mm.
Right. So I mean, yeah, I think, how long was it when?
Yeah, I think we're set.
Yeah, 2.5 hours approx. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you want to close with?
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye.